Hi, everyone. This is Norman Koshnek yet again on Eyes on Cricket with Norman Koshnek. I think we're up to about the 637th episode of this. And we are, in fact, live in several locations. One, obviously, Sydney, Australia. Coogee Beach, Sydney, Australia. And we've got the young David Graveney in, where are you, in Southampton, or where are you now?
I'm in Bristol, but heading off into the country to watch some age group cricket before it starts to rain. And hopefully it doesn't rain in Nottingham. So.
And of course, David is chairman of the select, or has been chairman of the selectors of the ECB. Has also got a role now. You're really taking the role of a scout, a future scout,
and a selector. We're
and a selector.
The under-19s are due to play the West Indies in September, which is great for them to come here. So we're playing it in a very localized area. So it'll be sort of Beckenham, which is southeast London, Polo Farm, which is near Canterbury. So it's not a lot of travel. And then this is a lead-in to playing in the World Cup in the end of January, February, which will be in the West Indies, which is, fortunately, as we stand now, an area which hasn't necessarily been heavily impacted by COVID. So,
David, when are you coming over to Canterbury? When's the Polo Farm?
That is September. So it's sort of the midweek of September. It's over. Sort of the West Indies arrive and leave, and it's all done 6 Monday internationals in less than 14 days. So.
Well, okay. Well, if I'm around,
Richard, we haven't probably introduced you. There might be people who haven't actually met you before. So I have Richard Vernon here, aka Barnstead Boy. He's also the father of Chris Vernon, who's been a regular on our show for several months. You are actually in Kent. Is that the exact location?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not far from where David's going to be. I'm about half an hour away from Canterbury. So I'd say it's a nice corner, but where David is in Bristol is pretty nice as well. And all around there, it's a lovely part of our country. Southwest and southeast are, in my opinion, the two nicest parts. But maybe I'm biased.
I think you would be.
He obviously doesn't like going north, Norman. So.
It's very different. I've got to tell you, it's a very different country.
So is it right? One of the first questions we've received. One of the first questions we received was, well, basically, how was the weather forecast today? Any update? Well,
okay, I can help you with that. I've been checking all morning. I haven't seen a live forecast, but I've been checking all the data and everything, and it's improved for this morning in Nottingham. And there's potential rain showers forecast from around about 3 o'clock, give or take. You never know in this country. David will tell you, you just never know. But they might get in a good half a day before any rain comes.
So the east tends to be better protected, Norman, because the weather's coming from the west. So
right.
Yeah, but again, if you looked at the games yesterday, it rained when I left Bristol. I went 50 miles up the road to Worcester, didn't have a drop of rain. And the only game that was affected by rain all day was actually the test match to a degree. And then a game at Headingley, which was rained off halfway through. So
very frustrating.
It's very much hit and miss. I think the good thing is it's quite windy. So if showers do happen, they'll move off pretty quickly. So.
And showers are hit and miss anyway. You just never know. The wind, all the wind has to do is change slightly, and that shower that was going to go right over you misses you by a mile. I
think they've certainly got enough time, Norman, to for the game to play out to its conclusion.
Well, let's hope not, David, because that's not.
No, hang on a minute. Spirit of cricket here.
Spirit of cricket. I put us down to win the first Test match at Trent Bridge. I didn't think we'd back quite so badly.
Well, that was your mistake.
It doesn't matter what form of cricket you're playing, Reg. If you don't get par in the first innings, you're behind the 8 ball.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, we're making a habit of that, and I'd have to say Australia will be in the same boat.
Can I ask David a question on England selection, if I can?
Yeah.
Obviously, we've at the moment I think it would be fair to say we have problems with our 1, 2, 3 potentially. How would they be at the moment? Now there's no chairman of selectors. How will they be scouting and working out because there's no red ball cricket being played? What, apart from Hamid, what are they doing? Will they be looking, or how will it work now with no chairman of selectors?
Well, this is a much debated point, which obviously you wouldn't be surprised that I probably would defend the old system, because that's
what when you were there, David. That's for sure.
But whatever the title of the individual is, he's got to make a decision. I've always felt that if the coach is, and the last time we did this was with Ray Illingworth many years ago, when he was coach, selector, the whole lot.
Yeah, well, he liked the power.
I think that it's very difficult for a player, particularly a young player, to go to the coach and say, I've got some weaknesses in this and that, or whatever, when he knows the coach is going to be the one who actually submits the team.
Yeah.
So that's a drawback. So I've always believed it's always been a networking type of thing. So by the time I finished, I had a whole network of, and some of the best people were umpires for me. So I used to ask them, coaches, to ask about their opposition, not their own players, because their own players, they're either talking up, talking down, depending if they've fallen out with them. So it's a collection of information, but in the end, what they have now is accountability. Somebody is actually, it's down to them. And I've seen people do it at rugby and football, and you can have as much detailed information, really fancy networks or whatever, but in the end, the manager in a football game, or the coach, he needs to see it through his own eyes to make a decision. He will feel uncomfortable or weakened if he's basing his decision on the information of somebody else. Sometimes, and to be fair, Reg, the amount of information that you get now and the amount of cricket now that is televised, even at my level, which is obviously not professional, I could watch everybody around the country 24/7.
Yeah.
You wouldn't know how they feel because you've only got a camera down the picture, and you don't know them as individuals, which is actually quite a key thing. But the question of not playing red ball cricket is how many people anywhere in the world, as we currently speak now, are playing red ball cricket?
Yeah,
I would say
virtually nowhere.
None.
Yeah. It's a shame, isn't it?
And then you're having a test match series, which you want the best players to show their skills. Reg and I obviously support England or whatever. Great that Kohli was out first, but you don't want that to happen all the time because he's the best player in the world. So,
okay. Now, on the basis of that discussion, we could talk about the England team in more depth, and we will continue to do that. But we have a question here. I'm not sure how you want to handle this, but people have been asking about the Aussies and the recent Bangladesh series and the fact they've lost 3 games in a row.
Yeah.
It's the T20 format, which is applicable to the World Cup. Australia literally have 2 more matches, which they've lost the series. They're supposedly under strength. It's quite confusing what's going on. How are the selectors, with now the transition from Trevor Holmes to George Bailey, what can they do? Because literally that's it. Other than IPL matches, there will be no more matches in an international level for Australia.
What is the panel, Norman? Because they've had is Mark Waugh still a selector? Is he on the panel?
No, as far as I'm aware, no.
Right.
It was Trevor. It was George Bailey's taken over. Now I believe there'll be a new panel. I believe there'll be a new panel joining.
Right.
Who that exactly is, I don't think George Bailey has fully announced that. Obviously, Justin Langer, who's the coach, will have a role to play in the selection process as well. I don't think Mark Waugh's got anything to do with it. I'm only assuming that George Bailey will bring together people that are based in his camp.
But is he not based in Tasmania, Norman?
George Bailey's. Well, actually, ironically, George Bailey, I see him on the streets of Coogee. So he's obviously up here in Sydney at the moment, even though he's originally from Tasmania. Whether that's because of COVID, I don't know. But he's actually been in Sydney for a fair while of late. So I don't know what the story is there.
Yes.
Physically, he's in Sydney. And we mustn't forget that Cricket New South Wales, hate to say it,
Sorry, mate. Go on.
have a lot to do with
Doing our
the Australian selection
So
process.
in New South Wales, Norman, what role does Michael Klinger play?
Michael Klinger,
Yeah.
he's specifically for New South Wales,
Yeah.
for both, I think, the structures of Cricket New South Wales, the regional areas, obviously the BBL franchises of Thunder and Sixers have a role there as well, an overseeing role. But
he was a Western Australia player, and then did
Correct.
not move to South Australia in terms of the Big Bash.
Correct.
I don't know. Movement is a bit easier to do in Australia, but I think they could do I think they could really do with somebody like him. I must admit, I found him a really. I know he played for Gloucester, so I'm a bit biased, but he came as an unknown player, and his record in England was just phenomenal, really. And
Well, he certainly wasn't an unknown player in Australia. He did very well domestically. He just never cracked it for the top league.
And dare I say it, Norman, for an Australian, he's a very, very deep thinking person. He actually thinks before he speaks. He's a really nice guy.
The reality is that Australia's selection process is, in my opinion, fractured. Now, I'm not going to blame Trevor Hohns or anyone else at this point in time, but Justin Langer, as you would probably know very well, he's a very hard taskmaster. He's a very tough coach. He's almost military style and is overly passionate, which is a good thing for some players, but certainly not for others. And
he reminds me of my first captain, Norman. Sort of, I can't remember what colour eyes he has, but when my first captain got angry, his eyes narrowed, and you just had to watch out. I just see Justin Langer being a little bit like that as well. Things.
There's no doubt
going well.
There's no doubt, and he does inadvertently favour, I'm afraid, the west and southwest of Australia, because he is a Western Australian. He doesn't seem to get along with, to be really honest with you, the Steve Smith Warner clan. Let's call it that. He has not. Look, when Steve Smith came out recently and said, "I pledge to be the next Australian captain," in the press, but not through the Cricket Australia management. And then Tim Payne and more so Justin Langer said, "What's that all about? We haven't heard anything about this. Tim Payne's the captain, and that's it." So they were at loggerheads immediately, with Steve Smith going out publicly and talking about he's about to be the next Test captain again, pledging to do so with young kids in Sydney, when in fact Tim Payne and Justin Langer, which are captain and coach, knew nothing of it, and they're wondering what the hell's going on.
As we both know, and Reg would know, we don't know what the question was asked of him, and it only takes the movement of one word to change the emphasis of his reply. It could be easily, do you see yourself being captain of Australia sometime in the future? Is a different question to doing it now. So,
okay, I agree with you, but when Ben Horn was the person, I know Ben personally. He's actually a very decent bloke. I would argue that there was a bit of Steve Smith in that media marketing going on rather than just Ben Horn. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised, because there was no involvement with Cricket Australia in that discussion. He actually posed for photographs with two young kids at Waverley Oval, the old Tony Greig's famous ground in Sydney. It was very staged, and Ben Horn was brought in to cover it. So I'm sorry, but the impression is that Steve Smith, you would argue, engineered that somewhat himself. To be honest with you, it looked very bad, very bad.
That would be music to English ears, because that will improve the atmosphere in the dressing room. So,
Norman,
anyways, on the base.
Should we take the question? There's a question on the screen about the game and moving forward today.
I was actually answering the question there, Richard, about talking about Aussies and recent Bangladesh betting as well. That's kind of what I was talking about.
Can we just enjoy that?
This one?
No, Visath Nareen, please take my question. Why does India have a good record at Trent Bridge compared to other grounds? And if there is a draw, can India draw confidence? I think it's a good question, David.
The question of the records, Reg,
it is a good question.
If you wanted to pick a ground where the ball swung consistently, it would be Trent Bridge.
Yeah.
Certainly when the new stand was built in the other end, in the direction of the football grounds, it definitely made the ball swing a lot more. And if you take and generally Trent Bridge is a really decent wicket. It will spin eventually. Probably not this one because of the amount of grass, but I think
it's played all right. The wicket's played fine, isn't it? It's a little bit of seam, but you'd expect that.
But I think it suits the type of bowlers that India have in terms of, and they're now bowling a bit quicker, Reg. So they can bowl bounces if they need to, and that's only a bit of a ploy to get people just plunging forward to counter the swing. So. And then they've got a really good attack that can play anywhere, really. So as they proved,
they're world class. They're world class.
But also, I think that they have, which is I think a bit of and it's no fault of the batsman when they get dropped, but it does change the emphasis of the end product. And I only just saw a little bit of the openers batting, and I would say this about all Indian players. They're all brought up with an absolutely fantastic basic technique. And a basic technique allows you to play the swinging ball because you basically got to play it as late as possible. So if you're going to play Australia, for instance, because they're at the ball all the time, like a David Warner, you would just want the ball to swing because the ball doesn't really swing in Australia apart from the first 5 or 6 overs. So. And their wickets are really even better. So you can just hit through the line of the ball. Where I think the one feature about Indian batsmen is that they let the ball come to them. And Joe Root would be exactly the same. Let the ball come to them as much as they can and make the final decision as late as possible.
That's more
certainly what KL Rahul did that, actually, didn't he? He batted that way.
That's more in recent times, David Norman, isn't it? The Indian batsmen going back in the day a little bit. They were susceptible to the swinging ball. And that's why they'd never won a test series over here. They've never won a 5-match test series here. But I think the standard of their batting and their bowling, to be fair, their seam bowling has gone up immeasurably. I mean, in the last 20 years.
The first time I played in India, Reg, when they were playing the counties, which is obviously a great experience, their opening bowler was a guy called Abid Ali.
So we're going back to the 70s here, are we? 70s?
Yeah. No, it's in the 70s. There wasn't a rush for a helmet with aggressive respect.
I think David Gower's test debut
changed when Srinath started to play. The tall seamer. Prasad, Prabhakar, and then started having seam bowlers that were a threat. And they've just taken, and also the world has become a lot more world game. So their best players are coming to England, Australia, and playing. County cricket allows the Indian players to come, assuming they're not contracted by India. But the moment they're any good, quite rightly, as England would do the same thing. Cameron Green, for instance, in the Australian team, it wouldn't be unheard of for Norman, but anywhere else outside Australia, nobody would have heard him before the beginning of the domestic season. And now he is probably their most valuable player because he basically balances the Australian team, whatever batsman they choose, and the 4-man attack that they've always had.
So you're talking about Trevor Penny?
No, Cameron Green.
Cameron Green, sorry, apologies. I'm actually, Trevor Penny's moved on. He's with the West Indies now. He's doing a great job with them, actually. Trevor Penny, don't you?
He's really, really, really nice guy, and he obviously likes travelling the world, basically. So. But he's a fantastic fielder.
So back to the question about Trent Bridge. One interesting thing from yesterday, and I'm not sure what you saw of Stuart Broad's bowling, David and Reg. He was pretty ordinary yesterday.
But if the ball doesn't, he's not necessarily a swinger of the ball. But the one thing that has happened over the last probably 2 years when they've actually have left him out, or Ed Smith left him out 12 months ago. Such as the quality of the individual is that anytime anybody writes him off, the next performance is normally a match-winning thing. So
yes, he did it last year.
Carry on writing him off, basically. So.
I was saying to Norman day before yesterday, David, that Stuart Broad gave the most brilliant interview during the Test match when he was dropped to the Sky team, didn't he? And you just don't see it.
He was honest about it.
But you don't see it anymore.
He didn't give a sort of a public pleasing interview.
No, he didn't.
He just wears his heart on his sleeve.
Yeah, but nowadays
he's been involved in doing a commentary for a 100-ball game, and as and when he will hang his boots up, he's got a career in that. Actually.
Oh, he's brilliant. Yeah, he's very good.
That's a long way down the line for him. So.
Yeah, well, Norman thinks he should have retired, so maybe not so.
Now, hang on. What I actually said was he should retire on top. Doesn't mean he should just be turfed off. He should retire on top. He should do a Warne. First of all, not beat Warne's record for starters, which he's going to try and do. Go out on top as the leading bowler in his team. Say no more. Now, the question about the draw. The draw is a win for England, in my opinion.
Cool, yeah.
Right.
We won't get a draw if there's enough cricket played.
I don't think so.
I think there'll be a result somewhere if the rain holds off. I think England need 280, David, to make it very interesting. What do you think?
Well, 280. So this is a type of game, Reg, actually, where if you're watching from the side, you actually want once they get into credit, England, and a reasonable credit, so it's got to be 150 plus. You actually, in some ways, want them to be bowled out, so that actually they have to try and win the game because you've taken the draw out of the equation, and that tends to produce the most exciting cricket. So, because the English bowlers will know that actually we've got nothing to lose. We've just got to try and bowl them out. So. Yeah,
I think that to get 150 lead, though, we've got to be 250, and that's going to be tough, I think.
Well, let's see how the wicket plays, and the two lads who open the innings will feel a lot better about themselves when they walk out today. They've survived the first salvo, and I agree with Norman when he said last night. I think the Indians could have bowled a bit better than they did. I think that to me was a bit of sort of macho type bowling. They wanted to bowl too short, where their attributes is actually pitched up to both of them. So.
Yeah.
So there's people saying that Jasprit Bumrah will get a 5 for today. Well,
maybe
that's implying I'd say there'd be a pretty. He's certainly looked the goods in the first innings, didn't he? They didn't get much movement or swing at all, did they? Last night,
the sun was out, Norman. It was sunny.
Sun was out, and they had some rain. So once the ball gets a bit damp, it then doesn't swing. So.
Have you not noticed during the whole test how it gets very flat when the sun comes out, and the minute the cloud comes over and the lights come on, then you're stuffed. It starts doing all sorts. So if the sun's out this morning, we need to, we'll grind it. I'm sure we'll grind it, but we need just to make sure we don't lose any wickets for the first session.
No, it won't be. Actually, Reg, Sibley will be going at 4 and over today, so don't worry.
that'll be the day.
We've been joined by Alan Mullally, David, and Reg.
Hello, Alan.
Hello, how are you guys? Hello, Dave. How are you?
Very well, thanks. Nice hat.
What is that hat?
Where that's from?
I wouldn't know where that is.
Chiang Mai Lana Cricket Club in Chiang Mai in Thailand. But I better put the real one on.
Actually, I was at your former club on Tuesday, Al. I was down the Aegeus Bowl. And,
just used to pop up to Thailand on Tuesday hour and give that a whirl down there. I'll tell you what, they love their cricket.
Reg, did you ask Chris about David's hat?
I didn't see him last night, but I will do. And if he's in Canterbury in a month's time, I'm sure we can. It's Canterbury is very close to me.
Yes, yeah, so the West Indies arrive at Gatwick on the 29th of August.
Okay.
They'll have a 4 or 5 days of acclimatization, and then they start from there. So it's
Yeah,
basically
well, I'm sure Chris can be in touch with you, David. I know he's got you on.
virtually every other day, and they leave on the 19th. So.
Polo Farm is the ground I know very well. I've played there many times, so yeah, it won't be an issue getting your stuff to you. I promise.
See this fellow here, Pratush JHA, who said hi, sir. He's actually 15 years of age, and he's very keen to become a sports commentator one day. And I'm going to try and get him on the show. He sounds very keen. He's from a part of India, and he's been a little avid. And he's got quite good thoughts, hasn't he, Reg? Yesterday he gave us some good thoughts about team selections and what have you.
Gave me plenty of abuse, Norman, which is exactly what we want. If I'm going to talk rubbish, then people have got every right to give me plenty of stick. That's for sure.
And we've also got Uday Pulaganka here. He's also he's talked about reshuffling his bets. He looks like he's settling for a draw unless England get all out for 70 in one session. I don't think England have to get out for 70, to be honest. If they get 150, that's not going to be enough either. It's only a matter of 85 or 75 runs.
You've got to get, well, ask Al, what's a reasonable, as a bowler, without going into fantasy land of bowling somebody out for 10, or like the picture.
David, I'm very methodical.
Yeah, it's just, if you look at the picture behind Reggie's left shoulder of one of Australia's greatest collapses ever.
I tell you one of the best. Can we all stop gloating about greatest collapses of Australia, please?
I'll butt in here now, because I'm not sure Grav selected me on that tour.
That's a signee in both of them from 81.
What year?
Sorry,
What
Reg.
year was it?
98-99 Ashes tour, Melbourne Test match. 182. Someone scored 16 and we won by 12. Remember that one?
Is that the Dean Headley? Is that
the first day was washed out?
Is that Dean Headley?
Dean Headley took 6 for.
And you got some.
This is an Australian bashing exercise.
Cover off of wide long up.
Pardon?
We're not talking, guys. Hang on, guys. We're focusing on India versus England, not Australia versus England, please. I don't want to be rubbed in about how.
This is the thing, and Reg, this is the thing I've got to put up with, right? Living in Australia. When Australia ain't doing well, I have to put up with it. When we do well, they don't like it. But when they do well, I cop it left, right, and centre for the past 32 years.
I was going to say, David,
to answer the question, Norman, we don't have to bowl them out in England. Don't have to be bowled out in one session. I think
162, 168 should do it. And Trent Bridge,
anything over 150, you get 20 for 2.
I'd say 150. And I tell you what, fair play to Jimmy Anderson. He still keeps going and going and going.
Well, Alan, you're saying 150, then chase, so we need 250. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, so 250 is the challenge, right?
Bare minimum, isn't it? Bare minimum. But
let me just check that. So England's 183 and 25, right? So England,
I think they're 90 plus 97.
Sorry, they're trailed by 70. Oh dear.
Yeah, now, but it's 90 overall. It was 90. It was about
95 actually. 95.
Yeah. So we need 250. I think that won't be enough. 250. David, I'm going to disagree with you.
You have to chase 150 and 22.
If they're all back like me, David.
150 is quite a long way away.
If me and Norman,
if England have done, England only got 4 bowlers. They've only got 4 bowlers.
If England can make 237.
Oh well. Okay.
With Jimmy at the helm, I'll tell you what, because that lad is just incredible, absolutely incredible.
But Norman, if you're going to bowl somebody out for 150, you don't need 5 bowlers. You're going to need 4.
So you're saying that 142 will be the target, effectively?
I'm not. I'm just saying 150. You still got. If you're in the England dressing room, they will say, "Right, if we can get a couple out straight away, they'll be." And they know that the middle order, was
because Kohli will be under pressure. Kohli and Rahane are going to be.
But actually, what you guys are forgetting, you're assuming that England are going to get 250.
Yeah, that's the difficult. That's the
my
difficult
God.
Norman, we're not assuming. We're presuming.
Presuming, yeah.
Assuming makes an ass out of you and me generally. So the reality is that I don't think England will get past their first inning score 103.
Wow.
Did you pick me for the Ashes in 98-99? I can't remember.
I was where was I? I was in Sydney. I wasn't in Germany. I was in Germany in the early 90s.
I'm talking to David.
Oh, sorry.
We won the Melbourne Test match, and I think we.
I was watching. I'll tell you where I was. I was watching it in the team room in Brisbane because I was looking after the one-day specialists.
Yes, that's it. Yes, Graham Gooch. I didn't say we.
And I would have to say that the team room was very well stocked as a courtesy of Graham Gooch. So.
Coffee.
Yeah.
And you had Adam Holyoake was floating around.
What the hell? Anyway.
I'll give her a bell now,
I wish your wife
Norman, what time
the Melbourne one? That one, 1999. 99? Yeah. I think it was 99. 98, yeah. 99. The first day was washed out. It was a 3-day game, and the last day was one of the last sessions, I think, of Test cricket history. And Steve Waugh wanted to call it off.
My prediction, Norman, is that England will still be batting by the end of today. And if they're batting by the end of the day, then they can set a target.
Okay. Now, both Rory Burns and Sibley survived yesterday's session, but today is, I'm assuming it's overcast and very overcast. Am I right?
I think it might be all right.
Sunshine
for the first session.
Sunny Bristol at present.
But Nottingham's a long way from Bristol, David. I think it's going to be okay for the first session, cloud. So that if it is sunny, it won't do so much. It just won't do. I mean, let's hope. Let's hope.
I think our biggest mistake, Grav, our biggest mistake, lads, is this. Forget Michael Goff. Forget Kittleborough. Forget Illingworth. We need my old mucker David Mills to be one of the main umpires. You know why? Because he has become one of the biggest non-outers ever in the history of world cricket.
They can't find a coach to fit him.
So let me summarise. We're going to doctor the game by having umpires which are biased. Probably wet the pitch again. What else are we going to do? Kick Coley in the foot or something? Or?
This is not Clem Jones you're talking about, Norman. All right.
Now come on.
Actually, Grab, ask the lads how much do they know about one lad called David Milnes.
I know a lot about him.
Umpire.
Quick opening bowler.
Knows him very well.
He's done a lot of under 18, 19 stuff in the last couple of years.
He's done Leicestershire opening bowler. Leicestershire, was he? Quick opening bowler.
Only for a decade when we ran the show, yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Leicester was unfashionable, and you'll never get picked to play cricket for England if you play for Leicester. I'll tell you a story. When Graham Gooch, when I was 18 at Southend, and I was playing for Hampshire in the second team, said, "Oh, come play for us. You play for England." Then for 6 years, I'm not English. Then on the Ashes took us. I can't believe I said that. But anyway, me and Mills were there 10 years, and God. Millsy down the hill at Grace Road, me up the hill into the wind, and God, we had some fun.
Right.
But Millsy, every single ball he put, grabbed, he was like you. He was the right arm fast bowler of your left arm spin. Every single ball that hit the batsman on the pads, it's out. It's out. Got to be out. And now all of a sudden he's an umpire. He's like, I spoke to him, he goes, "Al, no, never out. Never give out for me." The best umpire in county cricket, in world cricket, wasn't Dickie Bird. The best umpire of the lot lives in the West Country. What was his name? David Graveney.
Came from the West Country.
Ray Julian. Love the suntan. Ray Julian.
No one. This guy prided himself.
I'm actually ringing around all my Indian media contacts.
This is important, Norman. Go on, Grab.
Can you come on for 20 minutes?
Sorry? 20
minutes, okay, I'll come. The same link, right?
Come now. I'm being earbashed by a bunch of Poms. Help me out, Siddharth. Quick.
Well, it's going to be reduced by one. I've got to go and watch some cricket, Norman. So I'll speak to you again tomorrow morning.
David, don't go so quickly. I want your thoughts on this match. What's going to happen today? What are you predicting?
Well, what's going to happen today is that England
We're going to win. We're going to get a lead.
They're not going to be bowled out today. So if they bat today, they will have a lead of 150. And hopefully they can extend that tomorrow. And hopefully they do get bowled out. And then the draw is taken out of the equation unless it rains. And we'll have a fantastic last day.
I just want Siddharth to come on and just hear this before you go. You can't
certainly make it
Siddharth,
comfortable.
Hey, hi Norman. Hi David. Hi Alan. Hi Reg. How are you?
Hello, buddy.
So that's my
great,
prediction, Norman.
Hey, Norman, can I just say something to David before anybody goes anywhere? Just listen carefully, Dave.
Yeah.
When I first went to England in 1988, I was quite green. It's all backward. We're out Perth, most remote city in the world. They're like, "Where's Perth?" It was kind of like in Australia. Well, what, like over the west? Yeah. I said, "Yes, we do have electricity, by the way." The internet wasn't then. I said, "But listen to me carefully, Reg." I said, "We do have electricity, by the way."
That's
Now,
an old West Country gag, Alan.
Reg, just don't butt in and just listen. Over the past 3
Funny all the
days,
time.
we've dropped out of electricity because the fuse got blown at the front of these units, right? We dropped out the internet. We've dropped out for about the past 4 days. So, but we're back online. Just thought I'd share that with you.
Very good.
All right,
Norman.
So David thinks that England are going to bat the day out and be well above 150 ahead at the end of the day. Is that realistic?
Are you going to ask me my opinion?
May not be
No,
realistic.
I'm asking Siddharth, is that realistic?
See, it can be realistic if England just managed to bat the way they used to do previously. If they bat the way how they did, say, in Ahmedabad, if they bat the way how they did against New Zealand, then they have no chance.
Yeah.
They have to bat really well.
What they have to do, Sid, is basically learn how to leave the ball and wear the bowlers down.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
But unfortunately, everybody's come in, and even the Indian players were the same. They're at the ball from ball one because they've played so much white ball cricket that actually the act of leaving it seems to have disappeared. So
exactly.
So they've got to be able to wear down these seam bowlers, get the ball a bit softer, and then be able to accumulate. But that actually is a challenge for most international teams these days.
Yes. So if England bat properly, only then they have a chance. Otherwise, it's very difficult.
That's very polite, Sid. Thank you very much.
So, David, I'm telling you, you're going to get smashed. I think you're going to be all over for 100.
But David, very surprisingly, how the England bowlers didn't bowl the Indian tail out cheaply. They allowed a partnership of 40-50 between the last wickets. Very surprising.
I think Bumrah's got the right tactics for a 9, 10 and 11, which is actually to swing from the hip. And actually, to be fair, a bit like Sam Curran is doing. Sam's a much better player than Bumrah. But actually, you're saying, rather than scratch around for 3 or 4 singles, I'm going to try and get as many as I can in the shortest possible distance. So one that forces the opposition to put everybody else on the boundary for the first 4 balls. And then for balls 5 and 6, you try and hit them for 4s. The perfect scenario is hit the 5th one for 4 and the 6th one for a single and go from there.
Indeed.
David, didn't you have a bit of a reputation for being a hitter?
Really hitter? Doing that. So,
no enough said, man.
Anyway, guys, pleasure as always. I will see you tomorrow.
Thanks, David. See you tomorrow.
Thanks, David. Thank you so much.
Cheers out. See you later.
So thanks, David. Just before we go, I'm getting text by some rogue at the moment. I think his name is AM. I'm not sure if that's AM or PM. I have more chance of swimming to Cape Town than England being smashed. Is that right? Or have you seen me swim? I'm a very good swimmer. I think if Rory Burns...
We've got more chance of flying. I've got more chance of flying to the moon.
If Rory Burns and Sydney fall early...
I'll tell you why. Sorry, Reg. Thanks, Sid boy.
Yeah, say again.
I'll tell you why.
Sid, we've only got Sid for a short amount of time. Sid's actually doing the Olympics, aren't you? You're crazily doing the Olympics.
I heard about you. You're doing really well.
Thanks, Alan. Thanks.
I was
Thanks.
given a heads up by a certain person that you're doing blimmin' well.
Yeah. Every day, 13 to 14 hours Olympic coverage.
Well,
Every
you know
day.
what? So 13 to 14 hours. So you start working about
You're looking well, Sid.
8.
No, I was actually ill. I was ill for 4 days.
When did your day start in terms of work? When you get out of bed?
7 a.m. IST, 7 a.m. IST to 8 p.m. IST.
Hang on. So at 7 a.m. you get out of bed?
Yep, start work. I get off bed at 6 a.m.
Okay,
I didn't sleep overnight at all, by the way. Did I, Rich? I didn't sleep at all.
Let's transfer that to 7 o'clock, right? And then you go from then until what time at night?
Sorry. Yeah.
So you go from 7 a.m. until what time in the evening?
8 p.m.
That's awesome. I used to go from about 7 a.m. until 10 p.m. Actually, no, it'd be about, on average about 9 p.m.
Well, I didn't go to bloody sleep last night. I didn't go to sleep last night.
No, and try that.
Don't come on Norman's show when he's been up all night.
Try that.
It's not worth it.
Try that 5 days minimum, 6 days a week.
Yep, 6 days.
All right.
8 a.m. in the morning.
Excuse me, I want Sid to give his opinion of the match while we've got it.
Yeah,
So,
what do you think, Sid?
Alan, we can talk in a minute. Give Sid's only here for 5 or 10 minutes. Quick, Sid, tell us your thoughts on the game.
Look, I think India took that vital lead because the tail contributed for once. For once, the Indian tail contributed, and I was very surprised as to how England did not be as aggressive at the England tail at the Indian tail as possible. Drop catches. Yeah. I was very surprised. I was very surprised with England's approach that day. So, if England bat well, I mean, for how many? 2 plus 2 plus 8 innings. For 8 innings, the England batting has not responded. I mean, when was the last time they scored 400? When was the last time?
Sri Lanka, I would guess.
Chennai.
Depends on conditions and outcomes. Trent Bridge is done a bit. I think if England realistically does need at least 200.
Yep. If they can get anywhere between 350, 350 will be great.
They need 200 at least to make a game of it. 250, 270 to be in the game. But there's one factor.
The rain.
You guys play cricket? How good are you? One factor. Who is that? One person. Who is it?
Jimmy Anderson would be the obvious answer.
No. There's one factor. Who is it?
Joe Root.
No, and I'm going to say, I'm going to say this. I played against Tendulkar and Viv,
Kohli,
and Spinach, and Haynes, and Steve Waugh, and the whole lot, right?
Virat Kohli.
We got a duck in the first innings.
Yep, golden duck, Virat Kohli.
Doesn't happen twice. The golden duck does not happen.
Does when I bat.
But my ideal situation, Norman, would be in England makes about 300, 350 minimum. They have to make that score.
Then makes it interesting.
They've got no hope in hell of getting 350.
Hang on, Norman. Reg, I've played for my country. I'm not going to brag about it.
But you weren't the opening bloody batsman, though, that's for sure.
That's my point. If I was a bowler, mind you, okay, let's change tact here for a second. I'm going to put my.
Hang on, I've seen videos of you bat. I've seen videos of you bat. You didn't last long.
Norman.
Norman. Norman, we've seen videos of you batting as well. You didn't last long either.
No, mate, don't defend me. I can do it.
No, if I have to support Alan, he did hit McGrath for 3 consecutive boundaries in an Ashes test. You did, didn't you?
I hooked Wes McGrath for a 6 and Alan Donald for a 6.
Where were they? Edges over the top?
I'm trying to be objective here, not subjective, right?
I'm being realistic.
Objectively, India has Kohli. and Pant
Yeah.
are brilliant.
Oh God, I hope Coley does well. I hope he does well.
We need. Norman, can I speak? We're going to be objective. We need 250. Right now, with that being said,
250 lead.
Of course. Hang on, Reg, let me finish. However, with that being said, I'm getting the hang of this iPad, me up, fingering away, right? With that being said, when I was 26, 27, and you got Coley coming out to bat, just give me 2 seconds. And Norman knows where I'm going with this. You guys talk, I'll be back in 2 seconds.
All right. While Alan goes and gets his Alan will get his two cricket balls, these 2 balls.
Yeah.
Right. Now,
I
So-
think, Norman, Sid,
Yeah.
just let me say, if England can score 250 and set 150, there's immense pressure on Pujara, Kohli, and Rahane, who have been out of touch in recent times. They're all averaging under 30 in the last 2 years of Test cricket, and that they are going to be put under immense pressure because we know the game isn't just played with the cricket ball; it's played here.
Yep.
And you know that if you're out of form, it's here that you've got to conquer. They're all good enough. We all know they're good enough. On any given day, they can score 250. And why don't they every day? Why don't all of us do it? Because up here, it's in your mind.
But I have a feeling, Reg, that 150 might be too low a target. I mean, if I have to say, even for the 4th innings pitch, sure, they may get to 130 for 7, 140 for 8, but still, you don't want any side falling behind in a 5-match series in the first test itself. You don't want that.
Yeah.
So, ideal situation for me would be day 4. You may have rain also play a factor. Let's say even for tomorrow.
Mid-afternoon, they're saying showers.
Yes.
Mid-afternoon.
So why not England bat really well, make somewhere close to 300, 320, set them a target in excess of 220, 230.
They bite your
Don't
hand
dangle
off.
the carrot out. You just go for it and
They-
bowl the opposition out.
They will bite your hand off if we could score 300. That's not going to happen. I reckon Joe Root, if you offered him 250 all out this innings, he would absolutely bite your hand off because I think that's the best we can hope for. The way
look, 183 and
best we can hope for.
278, they will not go above 278. It'll be a struggle to go anywhere near 278. In fact, I think they'll make no more than in the late hundreds, in my opinion.
Well,
and we'll see in the first hour what's going to happen. I'm sure Rory Burns and Sibley will ink out a few deliveries, but they'll start losing wickets. Then there'll be a pile of wickets, and especially just before and just after lunch, there'll be 4 or 5 wickets falling in that period, as it's done already in the test. It's been
because look,
consistently
India
done.
are playing 3 out of 5 tests in venues where they have got a superb record, be it Leeds, and also be it at the Oval. So you don't want to fall behind. And if they fall behind in this test, with England's batting frailties, I don't see them making a comeback as easy as it was in 2014.
I agree.
Great.
So it's Burns, Root, Bairstow, Butler, their responsibility, the 4, to ensure that you at least go past 250, 300.
Yeah.
Because
Butler looked really, really out of touch, didn't he?
Yeah,
That,
I mean,
it was
what
only
was he
really
thinking? I don't
Bairstow
know.
that was putting up an end to join Root. It was only Bairstow. The rest were very. I mean, Sam Curran, yes, but Sam Curran could go as quickly as what Rishabh Pant did. Let's be honest, and he won't get much support. Here we go. We've got the English batting. It looks like Alan's going out to bat.
Now, my point is this. Talk all you want about Kohli. I bolted Tendulkar and Viv and all that, right? Now, see that? You put that there.
Yep, the 3
I
lions.
know no one's going to take a photo. Now, try and stand up.
I'm
Get it right.
actually going to do a video. Be careful.
I'm going to try and slow stand up now. You got this thing here. And you got that thing there. Oh, sorry, wrong one. That one. Oh, it's there.
Looks like it's never been worn.
Yep.
Do you want a video, Norman?
Sid,
Yeah, let me see that hat.
I shall let them do that.
What are you thinking about KL Rahul?
Okay, wonderful.
I
All
thought
right.
he batted beautifully, Sid, didn't you? I thought
Yeah,
KL
Reg,
Rahul
that's
looked
surprised, isn't it?
class.
See, 20. I'm not finished yet. Sid, I'm still going.
Alan,
Go on a video.
can I say something, Alan? We've got 120 people watching live at the moment, at least, and they want to talk about the test today coming up. They want to
Yeah,
talk,
that's true. I think it's time we talk about the test.
you know, no disrespect, but we've got a lot of people that are interested in what's going on today.
Sid, please, could you please, Sid,
I don't know.
Yeah.
Sid, okay. I think KL Rahul has made himself a permanent member of this team.
He asked me my opinion.
Hang on, Al, I'm asking Sid a question. Al, I think, Sid, don't you think that KL Rahul's just made himself a permanent part of this team, at least for this series? After scoring 84 the
Why
way
was
did.
he? Why was he never consistently picked in the Indian team is beyond me. I mean, you have to thank Shubman Gill for getting that injury. Otherwise, KL Rahul would still have not gotten a chance. But he
Well, no,
showed the
Agarwal.
Sid, that he wants to back
Agarwal.
down though, KL Rahul. Hasn't he asked the Indian management to not open? I thought I read that somewhere that he was reluctant as an opener. Now,
But yet again, if he is reluctant as an opener, where will he play in the side?
well,
You can't play from number 3 to number 7 because that's already fixed.
Alan, you listening or are you looking at your phone?
I look at the score.
Okay,
You
so
can't look at your phone while we're talking about
Reg,
it.
you bear in mind.
Okay,
I've
Reg
had
and
a
Alan,
power
let's
for
sit down
3
talk.
days, mate.
Siddharth, I want your
Sorry,
learned
Sid.
thoughts. You're very important to this conversation. Go, Sid. Before you go,
Come on, Sid,
let's have it.
So, if KL Rahul cannot be made a permanent member now, after this test or even after this test series, then I'm sorry, you're just playing around with his career. Plain and simple. Agarwal started well, but now he's in a slide at this point in time. You cannot. KL Rahul has got class, pedigree. He hit 100 the last test that he played in England. Why do you want to keep him on the sidelines? You want to keep, okay, fine, keep him. He will do everything. That's the team man that he is. But why do you want to play around with him? Keep a steady playing 11. India tend to shoot themselves in the foot very often. They did it in 2014, they did it in 2018. And I just hope under Kohli, they don't become trigger happy and shoot themselves again. That's what I'm saying. But if Kohli...
Let's hope they do.
Reg, okay, everyone, Siddharth's got the stage. Go for it.
So my only thing is let Rahul play all 5 tests. Don't chop and change for the heck of it. You got bitten very badly in Sri Lanka because of this. Don't do it in England. And in England, if you do not play a steady 11, you're going to suffer. It happened in 2014 to you on a normal basis. So play a steady 11, but for England, please bat well. Get to 250, 300, and then make a contest or give something to bowl for Ollie Robson and James Anderson. They deserve a lot more.
Can we say hello to your beautiful wife, Siddharth?
That's my sister-in-law.
Your beautiful sister-in-law.
Yes. Hello.
She's live to thousands. Tell her.
Okay,
Indeed.
So Siddharth, you're suggesting that KL Rahul will continue to open with Sharma, and they will continue to have Pujara, Kohli, and Rahane with punt following. Jadeja, not Ashwin, and then the bowling attack.
Maybe Ashwin for Jadeja, maybe. But then again, that batting option. Then there is a question here. Should Umesh play instead of Siraj? Get a genuine swing bowler in attack instead of a stock bowler. Where is Siraj a stock bowler? I don't get that argument. Siraj is a strike bowler. End of story. Umesh can spray it around to the left, to the right. He may take wickets, but he'll release the pressure. I will only say one thing. Keep Siraj. Maybe change Ashwin or Jadeja. That is the only thing, but...
Well, that's what I was implying. Jadeja's in until the appropriate conditions where Ashwin swaps. Otherwise, they keep the same nucleus of batting and bowling.
Yes.
They'll want the strike bowler at Lords, won't they? They'll want to keep Siraj in for Lords.
He can use the slope well.
I think so.
He can use the slope very well. But again, it all depends on Bumrah's fitness. Because he's the most vulnerable to injury in that whole 5 test series.
So Sid, what I don't quite get it. Now, correct me if I'm wrong.
Alan, hang on a sec. I'm really stressing.
About Bunbury. What injuries has he had?
He's had a stress fracture on his back. Then he's had an elbow injury.
A year ago?
Has he really? An elbow injury?
Yeah, he hyperextends massively. They showed it on Sky yesterday. His arm goes back to
in 2019. He suffered that back stress fracture in December.
Yeah.
He suffered that injury.
Was the hairline, the green line, was it a bad one? Was it a triple?
It was a hairline stress fracture.
That's nothing.
Oh, it's not. No, you can't say it's nothing. What do you mean it's nothing? It's still an injury.
Yeah, well, how about get stronger around where you should be?
But he's lacked rhythm since then. He's lacked rhythm.
You have to bear in mind, Reg, you can laugh, and Norman, you can laugh. I started out with the state team here when I was 18, right? With a certain bloke who is the king of fast bowling, Dennis Lilly.
Yes.
So whenever you say stress fractures, I laugh. How did I play 18 years of county cricket, 7 years for England, never a stress fracture?
Yeah, but Alan, everyone's different, aren't they? Freddie Truman never had any major injuries through his whole career.
Don't compare Freddie Truman to me. Don't compare Freddie Truman to Wes.
Everyone's different.
Don't compare Freddie Truman to Wacko Yunus, who had stress fractures. Don't compare Freddie Truman to Malcolm Marshall, Michael Holden, Glenn McGrath. Don't compare Freddie Truman.
Actually, Truman, I need to say something here. Alan, stop. Alan, stop. Alan, my thoughts are, I never had a stress factor when I bowled. Explain that. Alan, explain why I never got a stress factor. Okay, we're digressing, Alan. Siddharth, what's going to happen today?
When it comes to the out of fast bowling, Reg, don't get me started.
Alan, stop. Alan, stop. Siddharth.
I just hope England bat well. Rory Burns, Root, Butler, Bairstow. The time is now to step up. If you don't, you're going to fall behind. You have to bat well now. The bowlers are doing their job. The bowlers have always done their job in the last 5 tests, if you have to look at it. The batsmen have to step up. If they don't, you're in big trouble, because a target of 100 or 150 is not going to challenge this Indian team. How much ever low on confidence the middle order is. Give them a target of 200 to 250 in the 4th innings, that too with just 3 sessions to go. Not 4 sessions, not 5 sessions, 3 sessions to go. More than enough. Because chasing in the 4th innings in England is incredibly tough. Because of the Duke's ball, because it will swing all day long, and because, as Alan mentioned, Trent Bridge has got everything in it for the bowlers. This is luckily a great Trent Bridge wicket. A great Trent Bridge wicket. It's got something for the bowlers.
Reg, that's my tread last night. I had to scratch it the other day. I had to scratch it.
So England have to bat well. If they don't,
fine grade.
Reg, you know what? I had to use this.
Alan, that looks like the ball after I've batted. I usually get a lot of, and mine hits the fence a lot. Oh, would you put the sandpaper down now?
Get that from David Warner or from Cameron Bancroft.
We know the problems of now. Alan, I'm going to shove that sandpaper somewhere it doesn't belong. Would you like me to do that?
Oh boy.
Alan, just imagine that sandpaper grazing something internally.
I tried to show Norman the other day, right?
Okay, Alan. Before we go, Alan, wait a second. Alan, wait. Siddharth, back to you. I want before you go, we want your learned Indian perspective of this match. It's very important. Tell us.
India have that 84 run lead now. In England 11 for no loss. Okay. On this day, if India maintain their lengths like how they did in the first innings, great. England's batting is vulnerable. For that to happen, these 4 guys, especially the captain, has to dent the Indian bowlers really badly. Play them out well, grind them out. Like as David said, know the art of leaving the ball, when to bat well, when to hit the strokes. Do that.
Now,
India just
I have been
have
saying it all along about letting the ball go. I've been saying it all along.
Yep. Sid, I've got to pull you up on something a little bit here.
Yeah.
One, India didn't bowl well last night. Their lengths weren't right. They were short again. And 2, do you not think Kohli captaincy was poor, not giving the new ball to Shami, who was probably your best bowler in the first innings, and he's been a great bowler in this country last tour as well, and giving it to Siraj. Why did he not give the ball to Shami?
I think it's very difficult now to gauge what Kohli and Shastri are planning. They want to go against the convention. They just want to maybe add the surprise element in it. But yeah, I mean, some logics. I mean, Shami was your best bowler. Why didn't you bowl him out? In that same World Test Championship final, okay, Ashwin was your best bet against the left-handers. You could have played him on, bowled him on, bowled him on. Why didn't you bowl him only? Why did you bowl him only for 10 overs?
Yeah.
It's, I mean, I really don't know. I think they either gave up and then they said, oh, let's just leave it. And look at Kohli's attitude yet again. A test series win is not going to make much of a difference for us in India. Really? I mean,
never
it's
won a
all-
five-match series here. Never won. It's got to be massive. It'd be historic. He's wrong. He's wrong, Kohli.
He's totally wrong. I mean, I just can't make sense of it now anymore.
Hey, sorry, Sid, can you please repeat that again?
It does not matter if we win a test series in England now. It just does not matter. These are the words spoken by Virat Kohli. In what
Could that have been a
context?
bluff? Could that have been a bluff? Could that have been a bluff?
Maybe. Psychologically, he's just wanting to say that.
Norman, can I say something? It goes back to me. I wish I was 25 with this and Kohli. Goodness, my God. Please, you know something, Sid? I'm going to say, Norman, don't say a word, or Reg. And
I will say plenty of words.
I'm going to say one thing. It's been.
Well, Richard's had a fall. He's had a seizure.
No, he's messing with me.
Richard, stop drinking those rums and cokes, please.
Over the past 18 months of this COVID thing, any cricket is great cricket. And to win any test series anywhere, a proper test series, because me and Norman have had these chats on the phone. I'm like, Norman, I'll have a cricket. Just can't be done. I'm going to go fishing. Any cricket is good cricket at the moment.
You haven't seen
So
me
to
play.
say to beat England in England doesn't mean much. Really?
He's foxing. He's foxing.
So,
Come on.
right,
He's
maybe what?
25 and give me this thing. You know why? Sit, I'll turn it that way, and you flick it that way, and 94 mile an hour being clocked out, and go dunk. You're an idiot.
If he is foxing, Norman and Sid, if he is,
He
do you
is
not
foxing.
find that?
Come on.
But do you not think that's disrespectful, not only to England but also to India?
A little bit. This is the type of ball that Alan
To
used to
world
bowl.
cricket, Reg.
Alan used to bowl. He's got big
This is
seam.
great.
Alan,
I
this
think
is the
so.
sort of ball you had. See the ball? That's a typical ball of the 90s. That'd move.
Well, actually, it was that one. They took 9 for 90 somewhere.
All right.
Indeed.
I reckon England 250
Norman and I have
today.
a lot of laugh off air.
I hope
and we
so.
just laugh and joke.
Look, only then you can have a contest. If England don't bat well, there is no contest.
To say
250 England, India have an interesting chase on the 5th day.
Absolutely.
Because Test cricket would say that any score chasing 150 in the final innings is an interesting game. There's a lot of pressure, as we were saying when Alan was away just now. It's played in your mind, and the minute you see 150 to chase in the last innings, it's in your mind that it's not done a lot. So, no, I agree with Tiwani there. I don't think we can, but you know.
But where are the options?
And
In
we mustn't
county,
get
where
Dan
are your
Lawrence
other
as well.
options?
Dan Lawrence, also another dud.
I asked David Graveney said earlier exactly that question because he's scouting and he's involved with selections and he's looking at youngsters, and he's fantastic. He's a very, very good man.
Look, you have one youngster who's not been picked in England for the last 20 years. What about Darren Stevens? Why not him?
Oh, yes.
Tell me about Kent. Look, I live in Kent. My son played a lot. Tell me, Kent are hopeless. Absolutely hopeless. Absolutely hopeless. They've had an opportunity. This will be 20 seconds rant. They've had COVID. They've had players off to the 100 of their best players, and now they're playing the Royal London Cup. They've had an opportunity to bring in some of their young talent from the leagues playing here, and there's a lot of really good young talented players. What do? They bring a load of trialists in from all over the place, from nothing to do with Kent at all. I've got 2 youngsters of their youngsters coming in. What sort of planning is that for your upcoming? It's rubbish. They absolutely useless. There we go. Rant over.
All right, just quickly. Anderson, Robinson, yes, Wood. Obviously, Stokes is not playing the entire series. In fact, Stokes will not play for the rest of this year.
Yeah, I think Wood will play at Lord's. I think England will look for a strike bowler at Lord's because the same way India will play Siraj, I think. Don't you think, Alan? I think Wood will come in for the next test. Bit of pace at Lord's.
Yeah, but I don't understand this, right? Now, can I please say something? I'm not perfect, not a genius. It's got 1,300 wickets, whatever it was. I played my thing and did my thing, right? Alan Donald's a genius. He was rapid. He was called White Lightning for a reason, right? He was brilliant. Sean Pollock, brilliant. Malcolm Marshall faced him, brilliant. Waz Makram, Wakanis, Glenn McGrath, even the fat boy Warney. And there's so many I've faced. Patrick Patterson, now Reg, try and face him when you're 20 years of age.
I'm not sure you faced him for long though, Alan, did you?
He never got me out.
1 or 2 balls maximum, I reckon.
He's being cheeky.
1990 Leicester against Lancashire. Don't go on about my batting.
I've seen you bat, Alan.
Alan, we don't need to talk about it. I'll put some videos together and I'll put a compilation as my next video.
Let's have some fun here, okay? Let's have some fun. Sid, I agree. We need runs. And we have one player, in my opinion, Joe Root. And the rest to work around it.
Besto can do it. I like Besto, but he's a little out of test match.
Reg, have you got a Facebook? Norman, can you send Reg that video to send you on? I just found it randomly.
Of you batting, it won't be a long video then.
No. Are you on?
The one you sent me just now.
Norman,
yeah, I'll send it to him, but it's not very big, and I probably could just I'll text it to him.
I won't be able to watch it right now because I'm on both my devices.
All right, okay, all right. Let's get back. So back to Siddharth. Your predictions. I want you to be specific, not what could have, should have, would have, or what are you seeing happening? What's your prediction?
Looking at the current situation, advantage India.
Massively. Yeah.
They hold all the aces because they can bowl the right. They have to bowl the right lengths. If they bowl the right lengths, that's it. England will fall over like a pack of cards. If they bat
not if the sun's out, Sid. If the sun's
out, though.
It is here in the sunny south.
We're not playing in Kent. We're playing in bloody Nottingham.
I know.
No, when I sent you that video for a reason, man.
What?
Oh, Lord. Okay.
The fake accent made me toxic. Oops.
I didn't catch what Alan said. Sorry. If the sun shines before lunch, Sid, there's every chance England could be 80 for 1. Maybe almost wiped off the deficit. Well, if Sibley and Burns, there might be 50 for 1. But we could be not far off parity. And then it's game on, isn't it?
Don't lose too many wickets until you're wiped out the deficit.
Yeah, absolutely.
2 is fine, 3 is okay. But if you lose 4, 5, you've gone.
Okay. Norman, you run the show here, right?
Okay, just quickly, I'm just going to answer this question. Anish Engels said Ollie Pover's average of 52. He's not on the team because he's injured. Otherwise, he would be in the side. So he's injured. That's why he's not playing. Okay.
Yeah.
And young British JHA, I still can't find your email. Resend it to me again immediately in your Instagram, please. My Instagram. I like Buckle Dutta's team. He chose his team. I think yesterday Hamid's got to come in. I think he will, but maybe not next test.
God, Hamid's
Butler, Cara, I like that. Overton's an interesting one. Robinson, Broad, Anderson, Wood. Probably a bit too much pace there, but
it's got no chance of that being the tide.
No spinners. No spinners at all.
And they're not going to drop both openers. And they're just not. It's just not going to happen. They just won't drop both openers. Burns has got a little bit of money in the bank here. He scored 100 and an 80 odd against New Zealand earlier this summer, and he's the leading batsman in Championship cricket for that last decade, I think. As runs scored, he's
Reg,
you know.
he does well in the third innings. He always does well in the third
I
innings.
just think Burns has got just a little bit.
Before you guys go, you've all made
favour.
your assumptions, right? Gravy was here. Norman's got his opinion. Reg, Ben said boy. Sid, me, right? I believe miracles can happen. Now, I don't know how I'm going to do it on here, but just please bear with me.
Yeah, go on.
Will Matty.
Oh, hello.
Oh, no. Okay. Finish. Not doing that. I don't want to get a copyright thing. Okay, Alan, stop it. Otherwise, I'll take you off screen, Alan. Alan, stop it.
I don't know what. I can't see
counting
it, guys.
Alan, I'm counting to 3. 1, 2, 3.
Reg is watching. Sid's watching.
Watching it,
It
yep.
might be England against Australia.
All right, move it.
Melbourne, right? MCG.
Alan, we can get a copyright slam if you do that. Please take it away the screen. Okay, Sid, continue on before you go.
India holds the advantage, big time. If England lose 3-4 before they eliminate the deficit, then I don't see them coming back. But if England just lose 1 or 2 before they erase the deficit, then England have a steady chance.
Yes.
But England have to bat well. Simple. England just
No
have to
chance
bat
of
well.
that.
I mean, looking at how high the optimism is around here, it's really sad. Advantage India till now. If the sun comes out maybe after the lunch break, that's what's expected, right? Lunch break. Still advantage India because they have that spinner. They have that advantage, the variation. England don't have that variation.
The weather was showing possibly showers coming in from 3 o'clock-ish onwards. But
we don't need rain, Reg. We don't need rain.
The pitch is good.
But if it doesn't rain, Alan, we're going to lose probably. So we probably do need some rain.
No, we're not. So that's the English attitude. Back against the wall, we better do something.
I said on this show last night, I'd always be honest.
My Lord. World War II, Reg, were you there?
No, my grandfather was, funny enough.
Yes, my mum was there, right? Let's get down to nitty-gritty, right? My mum.
What is World War II? What has the World War got to do with cricket?
I'm going to tell you right now.
Cost Bradman his career in the end.
No, Norman, I'm going to tell you right now, and Reg, Sid, listen, and Reg, I'll tell you right now.
Staying all years.
I lost an uncle in World War II. France, Germany.
Okay. Alan, I'm stopping the conversation. No.
That's against the wall, right?
That's against the wall. It's the Bulldog spirit.
Atherton, Stewart, Hussein. We're losing. We better do something. Well, the great thing about cricket in England, the past modern era, we're going to win. Forget them. Yep. They've turned up straight. They've just turned up for one reason, for us to win. Hence the World Cup.
That's a Morgan thing, though, Alan, isn't it? That's the Morgan mentality, isn't it, that he brought to us, don't you think?
The Irish mentality. You got to lose.
Morgan certainly brought that into the English game. I would have thought Alex Stewart would have been pretty much a positive influence in the changing rooms, Alan, wouldn't he? Stewart would have been a never say die sort of guy, wouldn't he? Surely.
Alex Stewart?
Yeah.
Very negative. Hussein? Really? Well, they're very, very selfish.
No, I don't believe Alex Stewart.
Michael Atherton was never a giving up person. He would fight till the very end, Michael Atherton.
But he was never a team man.
Oh.
Nor was Hussein, nor was Stewart.
Well, we're going back to people don't even know what to talk about. Hussein had to have that because he was inheriting a broken system and he had to basically rebuild it from the bottom. And therefore he had to.
Negative.
Well, Alan, could you answer the question? The question for you, Alan.
Am I 17? No, 79. I need moisturiser.
So certainly not your batting average, that's for sure.
It might be a bowling average, Alan. They're talking about.
And Alan, what's your favourite cricket ground in England? A simple answer. What is it?
You know, it's a simple answer, but it's a tricky answer. Where do I love to bowl the most? I made my debut at Edgbaston, which was awesome, right? My test debut against India. First wicket, nine Mongia.
Yeah.
Got
Nine
Ashwin
Mongia,
out, and loads of guys
Mongia, the
out,
keeper.
and made some runs there. But Lords, I'll tell you why I like Lords. There's a few grounds. Lords, because I've got the angle. And Reg, you know that angle when you're a left armer in the World Cup.
I was a left armer, Alan, but unfortunately never played at Lords,
Well, you should have tried it at the World Cup.
even in the street outside Lords. I wasn't even good enough.
Okay,
to play.
there's two very
No, no,
polar
I've
opposites
got a
here.
few- I've got a few
Ronan
grounds.
says,
Few
Alan,
grounds
sir,
you've
you're
got.
looking so cute. And then
Thank you. I've got a few
Vivek
grounds
Singh
you've
says,
got.
he's ruined my day just looking at him. So I'm not sure which one to go with. One says
It's Alan's
Alan's
belly
cute.
he was talking about.
No, he's... All right, I thought I'd bring
Did
that.
do some modelling, by the way.
Norman, we're getting done for copyright and
Okay, let's
nudity
get back to the
today.
grounds. Okay, Norman, you want cricket? Let's go cricket. Okay, my favourite grounds: Edgbaston Test debut against India, awesome. Lords World Cup 4:37 opening game, awesome. Newlands, Cape Town, what a ground that is.
Yeah, that's
And
a
the
beautiful
women?
ground.
I mean, MCG 94,000 people. Take some.
Hang on. We said favourite ground in England. You've gone from England to Cape Town to Melbourne. What are you doing? England. You said Edgbaston and Lords, correct?
Yeah, and then Cape Town, and then the MCG.
I'm thinking, Alan, that if you played at the MCG and knowing that you were likely to be fielding at fine leg because you were rubbish in the field, then you must have copped some big stick from the Aussies on the boundary. You must have.
Oh, and you would have given it back too. Correct?
Do you know something I don't? Or do you know something I do?
So
Right.
Baramarani, by the way,
Well,
Baramarani,
well,
I'll repeat it, Baramarani from the Philippines, who's Indian, who said he was in Singapore last week, says he thinks when they refer to Alan being cute, it's referring to his belly button. What the hell's it got to the problem?
Were you not looking, Norman? Alan got undressed in front of the camera just now.
Oh, that's right, yes. Yeah.
Sid had to turn away.
I'm in lockdown.
Sid's sister-in-law was shocked. She's had to leave the house.
Okay, all right. Now, okay, I'm getting it very
I'll
strict.
tell you what.
Siddharth, no,
Yep.
Siddharth's talking.
Hang on.
Alan, no, Alan,
Alex,
I'm
here.
stopping you. Siddharth, you've said realistically, what do you think England will get today?
Okay, realistically, dispassionately looking at the current form, struggling to 200.
Not over 200.
Just about struggling to 200. That's it.
Oh, Sid.
I agree. I think they'll be lucky to get 150.
No, I didn't go that down, Reg. Just listen.
Yeah, I hope you both come on the show later when we're 264 for 2 at the close.
No.
Just
As
gonna-
I told you,
I'm just going to hide my face.
Pratush, I've emailed you. Pratush, I have emailed you.
I'm going to have to hide my face having come out with that comment.
No. Okay. Cricket Legend says, don't even troll Alan. He's the best. Oh, my God. You got your supporters coming. Okay. He's got a picture with Dennis Lilly. We've seen that. Very, very special. Siddharth,
Indeed.
so you're
Yep.
saying pushing 200, but no more.
no more.
Reg, honestly, genuinely, what do you reckon I'm going to get?
I think we'll get bowled out for 200 like Sid, but I hope we get to 250.
Yeah.
And I think if we get to 250 and the weather holds, it's going to be a very interesting game. I think 150 for India, when they're, apart from the openers, they're 3, 4, 5 are under a lot of pressure and Pants a slogger. So we've got every chance.
Yeah.
Sorry, Sid. I had a big rant about Pant last night, the way he batted in the first.
Alan,
Yeah,
Alan,
I saw it in the comments. Yep.
I just can't believe he's going to play like that for his career. I mean, you just can't. You just can't bat like that.
There's my belly button for that fellow.
Yeah.
That's not
And the
you,
girl.
surely.
Now, Alan, please. So now,
Oh, I'm sorry, Norman.
Endo Sharif saying that England will get 263. Very ambitious.
I'll do it. I'll take that, MD. Well done. That's a very wise comment.
Why 263? Wow.
263.
That's random. That's
very
random.
random and very wrong.
Sid, if England can get a 150 lead, would you be a little bit? Would that give you a little bit of pause for thought? Do you think?
It should, because in 2018 they failed chasing that same score. They failed in Edgbaston.
Yeah,
Maybe.
Anderson do it? Who did it? That I can't remember who bowled you out. It was
Stokes.
Yeah, okay. It's a big miss.
You know something? If you
Have you ever seen Sunil Gavaskar? Have you ever bowled Sunil Gavaskar?
No, just a good friend of mine. A lovely man.
Sonny retired in the early 80s, didn't he, Sid? Would I be right?
87.
1987.
And
was he playing Test cricket until the end, though? Was he still playing Tests? Oh, wow.
His final test was 1987, Pakistan.
Mind you, Sid, I've got a question to ask.
Great
Maybe
player.
you can answer my question.
Yeah, please go ahead.
When the West Indies, when Clive Lloyd and the guys come out here in the 70s, got destroyed by Australia, Lily and Tomo, blah, blah, blah. And Clive Lloyd went back to the Caribbean and said, man, we got to find some fast bowlers. That's the worst. That's American accent, not Jamaican. I can do a Jamaican accent. Yeah, man, we got to find some fast bowlers. Michael Holding, Colin Croft, Joel Garner, Andy Roberts.
Andy Roberts. He was the boy.
And they had a warm-up. Reg, I know my history. It's called Fire in Babylon. It's a DVD. Then
I've
they
seen
found
that.
this
I've seen
trained, and they got fit, and they got really fit. Gavaskar walked off the field, said, I'm not facing that. And then the West Indies came back out here and destroyed Australia.
Yep, 1976, they just walked off. But at that time, it was not Gavaskar as the captain, it was Bedi.
And you know how I know that? Because in 85, 86, I was a kid. And I was a net bowler for the West Indies. I was bowling to Viv and Richie and all that lot.
Wow.
And Malcolm Marsh was a lefty, man. And you know what? Here's the ironic thing. I want to try and play something for you guys. I'm not sure.
Okay, just before we get to that, I want to ask some more.
Play's about to start.
I'm going to control this now. I'm going to go to the questions, okay? We're going to give people a go at the question. Rory Burns will be the highest scorer, Cricket Legends reckons, and Siraj will be the most successful bowler. Interesting. But Buckle Dunner says, why doesn't he play Legends cricket? We'll ask him that in a minute. Go through some more questions. Alan is 52 years of age, but he's attitude of a 15-year-old. I'm not going to. What is happening to India?
I love the game.
What is happening to India at the Olympics? We were expecting to come back with double digits. Said not happening.
Not happening. Only 5, and we just have 2 medal hopefuls. That's it. It's over. We'll be lucky to just equal our tally in London 2012. 6.
The sun is out at Trent Bridge. I've just put on the live feed.
Wow.
I can do that because I'm technological wizard, guys. And it is bright and sunny. And the first ball is just about to be bowled.
Okay, before we get to that, just quickly, Siddharth, before you go, just a question for you.
2 runs, first ball.
Okay, so all right, we've got your record. So I come tomorrow for 20 minutes, would you, please?
Yep.
Good.
Okay. We'll do.
In the pre-show.
But will you have a pre-show? Do you think India might win today itself?
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. That's the best. That's superb, Siddharth. Well said, sir.
Siddharth, I'm on your side, Siddharth. I'm on your side,
Later in the
Siddharth.
series,
Okay.
you're going to get that one back.
You're Sid, and you, Norman.
I'll give you your finger in a minute. I'll point that finger at you in a minute.
You're
Siddharth,
fired.
give you that one back. When India's
Trump,
struggling,
you're fired.
That's brilliant. Well
Just
said.
quickly,
Well said.
in terms of that young person saying, Alan's 52, but he loves the game like he's 15, you know what? So you should. So I do love it. We've got Reg there, better park in. We go, Alan, I'll never go at you. Carry on, my boy.
Were they none for 25 overnight or none for 27?
Yeah, they got two off the first ball down to fine legs. Siraj just drifted onto leg stump, and Burns just turned it. Sibley looks like turning down the leg. Don't bowl Sibley on the leg stump. That's a mistake.
Yeah, why would you do that?
You know what?
Do you know, can I quickly tell you guys, and Sid, you should know this, Akash Chopra with Pragyan Orja are doing the entire match talking like this. With the game on, they're playing a live broadcast on YouTube.
Yeah, I think it's for some radio, I think, right? York radio or something. I just don't know.
Hey, Sid, if you can get me involved in commentary, I'm all over it. I've done loads of it with the BBC. Now, Becky looking after my mum. But, you know, Reg,
yeah,
just give me this.
We've had, this is an aside, guys, we've had over 8,000 people in the first hour watch.
I've seen you bowl, Alan, live. You played at Sutton Valence School for Lashings, I think, back a few years ago.
And you probably smacked me to all parts.
Me? Christ, no. God, no, I don't know, Chris.
Funny mates did.
You'd have
you would have got me out for a duck. Another one.
There's a big shout for LBW. Coley's thinking about, and he's not going to refer it. Crikey, he normally waits until there's 2 seconds left and then refers it. Massive shout for LBW here. They're just showing the replay. I'm going to give a bit of live commentary. It has hit him well above the knee roll. Terrible technique by Sibley.
He's not. Has he actually called it?
No, it's going over leg stump. They're going to show it now on the replay. I'm telling you, that's bouncing.
It was well done, Coley. He didn't waste an appeal.
No, but it didn't. I mean, to be fair, Norman, when it hits a batsman who's 6'4" above his knee roll, you've got to be thinking it's probably a bit high.
No, but again, supposing with umpire's call, you don't lose the review anyway. So
yeah,
okay.
but it was missing. It was going over the top by about 3 or 4 inches, and it
by
was
country
missing
mile.
leg stump. Have you seen the replay? So
it's missing by country mile.
Bumrah's taking the new ball from the other end. I don't know which end.
No, Shami. Maybe Shami will bowl the next over.
I find that very surprising.
This over. Yeah.
Interesting, Shami. It's good bowler, Shami. So
what's going on? Alan, have you got the two of Alan there? Or what's going on?
Can we? I think one's
fine. Just figuring things out, buddy boy.
Patricia's backstage, but he's not coming on for some reason.
He doesn't want to come on with Alan. He's afraid.
No, sir. Said I. Yeah.
He's having trouble connecting.
Lads, I want to do a few things with a few friends of mine, like Jimmy Adams and Viv Richards.
Okay, we're gonna now say goodbye to Siddharth. Thank you for coming on.
We'll be there tomorrow. We'll be there. I'm back to cricket, thankfully.
Say goodbye, guys.
It's always a pleasure, Siddharth. Thank you. It's brilliant.
Always, Reg. Always, Alan. See you tomorrow, guys. See you tomorrow.
Best comment, Siddharth. You've got it coming back to you, that comment.
Oops.
At Fishy Sid. Is that your Twitter feed?
Sid Vishy. Yep. Vishy Sid. Yep.
Add me on Facebook. My name's Alan Lally.
I have added you on Facebook.
Oh, well, I'm on there somewhere, but I tend to get banned as well.
You are there as a friend.
Why would that be, Alan?
Okay, Siddharth. See you later.
See you tomorrow, Norman. See you tomorrow. Ciao. Bye. See you. Bye.
Now, Patricia's backstage. He's a young 15-year-old kid. I thought he would be technologically not challenged, but he is. So he's still there. So we've had, let's do a bit of commentary to the match. Have you got it on, Alan, as well?
I've got it on. Norman said that was the best comment you've had on here for a long, long time. Will there be a pre-show tomorrow and you're going to win today? That's brilliant. You don't need one.
I did not say they're going to win tonight.
No, Sid said it. That's what Sid said. You said, will you come on tomorrow for the pre-show? He said, I don't think I'll be needed and you're going to win today. Brilliant.
Well, then it will become a post-show, won't it? Post-match.
Yeah, that was brilliant. It's with the sun shining, we need to consolidate our position here. It's the third innings, typically the hardest innings to judge. And I would suggest that we just need to dig in a little bit
I think England will probably get they might get 40 or 50 or 60, but then they lose wickets.
Something, Norman, because you had no idea about England in terms of England-India. I played against India. But you know, Norman, you got an idea, but when you have a shave, I'll take you seriously because look at the state of you. Fucking Santa Claus.
No, Alan, he's got the part for the remake of Miracle of 34th Street.
Pratyush, JHA,
he's going to play
nervous accents his first time. That's all right. Come on, Pratyush. Try again. Pratyush, try again.
Did you used to enjoy playing for Lashings, Alan? Did you enjoy playing for Lashings when you played?
Oh, loved it.
For us as school parents to have the Lashings side visit.
I think the last time I played properly was 2008, 9.
Yeah. You because David Fold was an old boy of the school my boys went to.
Yeah, and then I think some guy took over. We got done for cooking the books. The accountant.
Well, Gordon Greenwich is a part of it, so is Richie Richardson.
Yeah, Tendulkar came over. I told you, Norman.
I sat there. I stood there.
Curtly on
right
mine.
At first slip for Lashings, Sachin at second. And he goes, Spider, we're just talking about cricket. Now, bear in mind, we had a lot of history. And he goes, Spider. I'm like, yeah. Who do you think was the hardest fast bowler for me to face? Or the hardest bowler for me to face?
I know the answer, Alan. I know the answer to this. It was you.
No.
It was Malcolm Marshall.
Don't be smart ass, Reg. I'm being serious now.
Well, I thought
this actually was amazing. This was actually one of the most amazing things in my career, right?
I've just had my 2.4 millionth viewer.
Well,
2.4 million.
That's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
In 6 months. 2.4 millionth.
Well, here's a question, Reg. I'm going to say it to you. I'm going to say speak from the heart because you know what? I was amazed. It wasn't me, but just to stand next to Sachin was phenomenal in a Lashings game, right?
Yeah.
I'm a first slip. I'm not a first slip player, right? There's Sachin.
Sir,
blue, he goes,
sir, can you hear me?
Spider.
Pratyush, we can hear you, but we can't see you.
Yes, sir. So, sorry, sir. I have problem with my camera.
Hello, Pratyush. Welcome, sir.
Well,
Sir, first of all, sir. Yes, sir. So, first of all, sir, it is pleasure to be on your show in just this age. People dream to talk to a journalist or any big personality such as you. And
so, Pratyush, how old are you?
yes, sir.
What is your age?
So, only 15.
15. So, Alan's career finished more than 15 years ago.
My career finished in 1978 when I was 12.
15 years ago, 2006.
Your banter is awesome.
Pratyush, you weren't even born when what's his name? Michael Vaughan won in 2005, the Ashes.
Yes, sir. I wasn't. I was born in 2006.
Well, what part of India? What part of India?
Just near Delhi.
Where?
Near Delhi.
Near Delhi.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Pratyush. Pratyush? Yeah?
Yes, sir.
Hello, sir. It's Alan Mullally. How are you?
Yes, sir. I'm fine here. And how are you?
I'm very, very good. How are you? I'm very, very good. Are you enjoying the cricket?
Yes, sir. Just try to improve my knowledge by seeing the shows of you all only.
That's brilliant. Do you know, Pratyush, I get so many people, or so many guys like yourself from India and Pakistan who want to add me on Facebook to ask me advice about coaching. And I add every single one and I try my best. So what do you bat or do you bowl? I guess you bowl and you bat and you bowl spin.
Oh, what a guess, sir. That's just unbelievable.
Do you bat?
Sir, I bowl. My main focus is on leg spin, and yeah, I bat, but on a very low strike rate. That's why I have a very bad reputation.
That's okay. We always can
But
get
Alan's
better.
got a very bad reputation as well.
And me. And Norman. Yeah, we've all got the same batting average.
So, Patish,
Just, sir,
what part of India?
Yeah,
What part of India are you from, sir?
near Delhi, from sir, from the
Near
capital.
Delhi.
Yes, sir.
You're in the country or in the city?
Sir, I am here in UP, Uttar Pradesh.
Oh, Uttar Pradesh. Oh, Lord, that's a lovely place.
Yes, sir.
Do you speak Hindi or Urdu?
Yeah, sir. Hindi and my mother tongue, Mathli. There is a language called Mathli.
Mathli. I've heard of Mathli. I'm not well versed in Mathli. I can speak a little bit of Hindi, like Acha.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, good. Acha, good. Tick. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So, do you live with your mum and dad?
Yes, sir. Of course, I live with my mom and dad and my small sister.
Of course, yeah. That's an obvious question.
I have a question, Alan. I have a question for Pritesh. Pritesh, I had a bit of a rant last night about Rishabh Pant and his batting. Were you upset by that, or did you think I had a good point?
I thought that you were right in that, because there are two different things: slog with sense and slog without sense. And not every time, but Rishabh sometimes gets so much hype, and he is also. We should also understand his problem, that how much pressure he has on himself, because everyone eyes are on Rishabh Pant only. What will Rishabh do? Will he be able to do better in English conditions, his keeping and all?
Yeah. What do you think is going to happen today? Do you think India are going to wrap it up today?
No, I don't think so, because have expectations when Bears to end this innings.
Yeah, with the sun shining and the rain forecast for later, I think it will go into tomorrow.
Yeah,
and it's done nothing so far. I'm watching the coverage. It's literally on the screen next to me as I'm talking to you, and it's a little bit there, but it's too short. They've got to keep. Isn't it amazing when you watch the first innings? When India pitched it up and they did absolutely everything, and I'm watching the second innings and they're back to bowling short of a length again.
Yeah, but it is. I'm watching it as well. It's quite bizarre,
isn't it? They pitched it up and they're bowling it out for 180. Isn't it strange? Is that a bowler's mentality, Alan?
I think Kohli is. I think. Yeah. Carry on.
That's okay. You carry on, buddy.
Sir, I think that Kohli is, Siraj in domestic also has the reputation of bowling from new ball. So Kohli is just giving, Kohli is just giving opportunity to Siraj from the new ball. And heard your yesterday's discussion about that Bumrah and Shami should be opening the bowling for India. So, but I had just that counter argument that Siraj, we had even saw him in the. I know that it's T20, but in IPL also in one match against KKR, he just blew away by the new ball. And sir, he's more reliant on swing as compared to seam. So sir, Kohli must be trying him for the future from
Excellent
new ball.
Point. Excellent point. My only point was I thought Shami was the best bowler in the. I know he didn't take the best figures, but I thought he was the best bowler, and I would have given him the new ball. and we nearly ran ourselves out there. By the way, I don't know if you're watching the live feed or not.
Alan's gone off, has he? What's something else?
I don't know. It's gone black. So, yeah,
Patricia,
excellent.
Why can't you get video, Patricia? Why can't you get video?
What's a pardon?
Why can't you get on video?
Sir, just because I'm on laptop and my camera is not working on it.
Okay.
I think Petrucci's worried, Norman, that he's probably a bit better looking than me and you, and he'll show us up for being the
No, sir. My
old men that we are.
face is literally, my face is worse in this world.
Hang on a second.
Did you enjoy listening to David
It's
Graveney?
just a pleasure to talking to you.
Yeah. Did you enjoy listening to David Graveney? He's a very, very knowledgeable man on cricket. There's a wicket.
Yeah, sir.
Wicket.
He's
We got a
just
wicket.
out of my reach.
Petrucci, you were right. Siraj got a wicket. Burns caught behind. 37 for 1. Great call, Petrucci. You got it absolutely spot on.
It's about to happen now, is it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Just thought that what Kohli must be thinking by giving the new ball to Siraj.
Yeah. He pitched it up a little bit though.
That's a huge wicket.
He has that reputation in domestic and for India A also.
Yeah. Well, he's done a good job. Burns will be under big pressure. 0-18 in the test.
Yeah, well, it's going to be interesting what happens here.
Don't mind, but sir, Burns and Sibley look just like walking wicket. I don't follow county cricket that much, but by seeing their techniques, I do feel that they are walking wickets.
The reason Burns got picked in the first place was because he scored the most number
of course,
county runs.
100 against New Zealand. Yes, sir, followed that.
No, but the reason he got picked for England in the first place a couple of years ago was that he'd scored for 10 years. He'd been the leading run scorer in county championship cricket by a long way, or he was the outstanding county batsman. And that's why they picked him. You can only pick someone if they're on form and quality. But I agree with you, they're struggling. Who else have we got? We've got Hamid coming back in. But crikey, he'd be under
Hamid, sir, I remember that Hamid played. I didn't watch that match, but against India in 2016.
Yeah.
Sir, and Kohli also had commented on him that he will be a future star for England.
Yeah. The problem is
the question is, Prashant, a new person's come on, Prashant Atkapuram. Who has more chances of win? You'd have to say India are only firming.
I think
as wickets start to fall, it's going to mean that India are firming, I think.
I agree.
Because they're still they're now 58 still behind, aren't they? So they're 1 to minus 58. It's not a good sounding scenario for look at that. Great delivery.
Crawley has to score now.
It was a good delivery. But he's got to be better as an opening. But I suppose as an opening batsman, it's hard. And Crawley's nearly gone first ball. He's edged it through between third and fourth slip.
Has he gone?
No, he's edged it for first ball. He got a big, thick outside edge, and it went wide of third slip's right hand.
Actually, I am one ball in my system. It is one ball late.
He's got a big outside edge on that.
All right, Patricia, I'm going to thank you for joining us.
Yes, sir, yes.
You must get a video next time so we can see you. It's good to hear you, but I'm glad you came on. So thanks for joining, Patricia. You are now going to be a part of things if you come on again, but please have a visual, okay?
Yes, sir, of course. Well,
thank you for joining us. I hope you enjoyed it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
You look after yourself, my friend. Take care.
Thank you.
Fantastic, Norman. Absolutely fantastic to have someone young and intelligent and who loves the game clearly, and you're spreading this fantastic show worldwide. You have comments coming in from Singapore, India, Australia, the UK. Where was the other day? Was it one in Canada? Do I remember?
Yeah, Canada. We've had Sweden. A number of people from Oman.
Bloody proud, Norman. You should be bloody proud.
I'm enjoying it. I believe in a community. I like people coming on that want to embrace the show, not do what I'm talking about.
I understand that. I'm watching.
The reality is that was lovely. He was a nice kid. A 15-year-old won't forget that. He may now want to be a sports commentator the rest of his life. He now has a burning desire to do it. He's had his small taste of it. Good on him.
He came on with 3 legends of the game, Norman. Alan Mullally, Norman Kochnick, and Richard Vernon. It can't be better than that. All he could have wanted more would be Munchie to have been on, and he would have had...
and David Gravely wouldn't have been too bad.
Munchie's been quiet this morning. He's obviously not with us.
He's not with us. Clearly, he's not with us.
You've got to bear in mind, when you have a 400-acre estate and it's the weekend, he has to...
Are we slightly exaggerating the size of his estate? Or are we talking
exaggerating the size of his stomach as well? But it's good. It's good. Good broadcasting. No, he's massive. He owns most of Kent, and he probably has to see his estate manager at the weekend to work out what's going to happen during the coming weeks.
Are you serious?
He's a very rich man. Norman, I'm surprised he hasn't offered to sponsor your show for you at millions of pounds.
I'm waiting for that. I'm waiting. They've got 4 slips. No, they've got 3 slips.
He has been talking about flying me and him out on his private jet to come and see you for the for the Ashes, Munchie. So you will see.
You're jesting. You're jesting.
I am jesting. He's not on. I can't banter with him. He's not even here.
No.
He is a top player. Lovely guy.
I tell you what, I'm very worried for England at this stage. If they lose 1 or 2 more now, they're going to be in a heap of trouble.
I'm not coming on as Siddharth Son if we lose today and he comes back tomorrow. It'll be terrible. I wouldn't know where to put my head, Norman. I can't believe Siddharth.
Okay, but Buckle is right. Australia's cricket is getting. They would be if they're out there now. Other than Labuschagne and Smith, there's no other Australian batsman of quality. Even Warner's not worth relying on at the moment.
I'm going to answer. Is it? Sorry, I can't see the Baku. Norman is talking absolute rubbish. I'm telling you now, Australia are going to win the Ashes. They will always bounce back against England. They will play well. They've still got a great bowling attack. They've still going to have Warner, Smith, and Labuschagne, and they've got Cameron Green. And England will get absolutely bloody murdered this winter. I would have thought.
I don't.
Norman doesn't have a clue.
I have an absolute clue, and I think Australia. Hang on, the last series we got beaten by India, correct?
What's that got to do
what
with
confidence we got about it?
Interesting though. I don't think you'd have been beaten by India if Kohli hadn't got injured and gone home. There you go. There's a controversial statement. I think Rahane taking over that side was absolutely pivotal in that series. Absolutely pivotal.
You think so?
Yeah, I do. I think that there is a massive respect in the side for Rahane in his captaincy, and he's good with the youngsters. And it was the youngsters who won that series. He got 170 odd, didn't he, Rahane, in one game? And then it was all about the youngsters coming through and performing. And I think that it's an art, it's a skill to being able to manage young players coming into a side. You mentioned Mike Brearley earlier. He was I know a lot of people wouldn't have heard of him. He was a magician at knowing which player to kick up the backside and which player to put an arm around.
Oh, the way he handled Ian Botham was magical.
Exactly what I mean.
Magical.
He said to Ian Botham, I know this is going back to boring times, but he said to Ian Botham after Ian Botham lost the captaincy, "Do you want to sit out the next Test match, Ian?" And Ian Botham apparently looked at him and said, "You're having a laugh." He said, "Well, I'm wondering whether you should play Ian." And all he was doing, he was getting him going. He was egging him on, and the rest is history. And it was all. Botham says it himself. He said Brearley just knew how to get me absolutely right, and he clearly knew how to get Willis right as well. Amazing how it can be just a captain. It didn't have that effect on side. And I have.
Well, look what the young producers just said.
I really think Rahane did it. Sorry, I really think.
You're reading the comment from British?
Oh, it was a pleasure to have him. It was fantastic.
Yeah, it was a great.
Absolutely fantastic. I hope a leg spinner and a batter. Can't get better than that. And we're out. 2 down. 2 down. Crawley gone. Bumrah.
So who are the fast bowlers in England outside of Archer and Wood? Obviously, there's Ollie Stone, there's Ollie Robinson, there's Broad and Anderson.
Wicket.
Wokes.
Wicket.
I'm watching it now.
2 down. Bumrah, lovely delivery.
Great catch too.
Yeah. You'd hope your keeper would catch that. I've got to be honest.
Great catch. It's not an easy catch.
You've got to be better than that. You can't be edge your nose. Look at the angle of his bat, Norman, on the replay from behind.
He was nowhere near the. Should have been nowhere near the ball.
See, Joe Root wouldn't have nicked that because he would have been playing it later and under his eyes on that length a little bit.
He actually poked it.
He poked it, but his bat is on an angle of around about 30 degrees.
Why would you let your bat hang like that?
Look, we're not facing Bumrah bowling at 87 miles an hour, are we, Norman? I've got to be honest. You know, I would have been lucky to have survived someone bowling at 65 miles an hour.
England are going to seriously consider changing the upper border, aren't they?
I think Hamid will. We discussed this, whether they'd change it straight away or give him a couple of tests.
I think that out of respect, they'll have 2 tests. I reckon.
No, I don't think so. Having watched this here, I think that they've got to. When the injuries occurred and they had to bring players in, they brought they brought Overton in. I was surprised they didn't bring Milan into the squad, which suggests that.
Did you say Mullally?
Milan, yeah.
I thought you said Mullally then. I'm thinking, hello, I'd be surprised.
Yeah. So what happened to him? He just disappeared.
No. He messaged me. He had something happen.
Did I upset him too much? I hope not.
No. Stop things.
I just like to have a laugh, Norman. I do.
No, but he's exactly. What has happened to Stuart Broad? Is he out of form? Well, he was out of form in the first innings. Yes.
He's I think he's a little bit out of form. I think they've had no cricket in this country. There's been no red ball cricket since early May. And so the last time Stuart Broad would have bowled in a proper game with a red ball would have been in the Test series against New Zealand. And you look when Jimmy.
That was an ordinary shot. There was no foot movement. There was no. You normally get across and you get behind the ball for starters. Yeah. That was.
And answers the question. If you watch Jimmy Anderson in his first spell in this game, he was shaky. He wasn't quite right. He was out of rhythm, and that's because he hasn't been bowling. And all of a sudden, you could see that his rhythm started to click in. You can tell when you watch these bowlers when they've suddenly found their rhythm. Anderson,
Siraj, you know what? Siraj is actually a good selection. You know, a good selection for the team and the bowl now too. He wants to
speak about it pre-season, pre-series. We spoke about Siraj and him coming in.
I mentioned both Jadeja and Siraj.
You did, and we talked about them not going with the 2 spinners because look, if they'd picked Ashwin instead of Siraj in this game, it would have been wrong pick. It would have been wrong pick. Look at what they're doing. They need the 4 seamers here.
This is actually a very what Quick Legends just said is absolutely on the money. If India gets Joe Root now, match over.
I think he's right. Well, cricket. Do you know what? Cricket's a funny game. You never know what's going to happen in cricket. But I agree.
Yeah. Root goes. That's it.
I think that
the confidence levels. Lawrence will go cheaply. Bairstow will hang around. Butler will get out. Sam Curran will be with the tail. They'll get 150. Game over.
Yeah, I mean,
there's still 50. They're 49 adrift.
It was a good ball, by the way, that got Crawley. I know he said when you see the replay there, it seemed a little bit away pitched. Bumrah's difficult, isn't he? He's fantastic. Got a great that action. You think he's not going to be as quick. It's on you, and it just seemed away from him.
I tell you what, the delivery that Siraj got Burns was a beauty as well.
Yeah, it was. These are high quality bowlers, Norman. They're allowed to bowl well. I think we always forget that. It's like when you say a batsman got 100, isn't it? He's allowed to. He's a batsman. He's allowed to score runs. These guys are allowed to bowl good balls. I think we're in big trouble here. And I think England need to have a complete rethink. If we bring this side, this top 6 down to Australia, it is going to be carnage. I think the bowling's good. I think our bowling is fine.
Again, Darwin Milan. What I still persist with him.
Well, they haven't picked him, and they didn't bring him into the squad. They obviously he's not been in great form.
Oh, he's ticked somebody off. He's ticked somebody off. Maybe
He's been playing in the white ball in the 100. That's been going well. That was good again last night. The 100, Norman. That was a pretty exciting game last night.
I'm sorry, I can't get into it because it's so localised to England. To be honest with you, it hasn't got. I mean, you don't watch ball by ball the Big Bash, do you?
No, but you've got to understand that we've got time differences. But Are they showing it?
I can't get into it.
Are they showing it? Are they the 100 in Australia?
In part, but not full.
Okay. We get the Big Bash on here live. They put it on live. The Big Bash.
Do they?
Yeah. We get it all. I thought some of
a lot of English players
last year were some of the rule changes. I don't think they'll persist with a couple of them, will they? Did that work? How did bringing it up after 10 overs? I'm not sure.
You cannot continue to change the rules as they are. It's too much. It doesn't help. It becomes very confusing.
I defend their ambition to try and evolve, because I'd be a hypocrite if I said that I didn't, because in the 100 they brought a couple of rules in that I think are good. I really do.
But the 100 and the BBL are at different times of the year. Yeah. They're never going to clash.
Yeah. No,
so it's not really a relevancy.
But bringing in a rule change to try and evolve it and see how it works, it's not a bad thing. It's just if it doesn't work, you've got to dump it. And I think
I love Trent Bridge. Trent Bridge is the most quirky ground.
It's not a round ground. Anyone who has
it's not. And it's got that one sort of barrier type. Oh, good delivery. They've got it's like a cup shaped end one end. It seems bizarre. Then it stops. There's a big gap, and then you've got this traditional old ground. Then you've got this huge several-story building.
It's like a lot of places in our country, Norman, because we are an old country and things evolve. If you go to New York, I'm sure you've been.
I've been to 20 times.
You can walk around New York easy. You don't even need a map. If someone says they're on 3rd and 4th Street, you can just find it because it's just like a grid.
Yeah.
Because it was built late. But you go to London, crikey, my man, you get lost in London. It's full of little tiny alleyways and street. Nothing runs straight. There's no road that runs straight, and that's because it just evolved and it built and evolved. And the cricket grounds.
Cook should come out of retirement, buckled data say. That's funny. Can Australia bounce back today in the 4th T20? I think they're going to get beat 5-0.
We can only hope.
They're in I mean, Bangladesh are so hyped up now. They're so determined to really ram this home.
Yeah. Alistair Cook's on Test Match Special commentary on this test. I've been listening to him. He's good on the commentary. Norman, he's very good.
Oh, he's a very smart character.
And he's humble.
Is he a lawyer by profession?
He's a farmer.
Farmer.
He owns a farm. He retired and went back onto his family farm. Would you believe? I think his farm is not in Essex. I think it's further around. It might be in Essex, but he lives in Essex Way. He played for Essex. He was an Essex boy. So, but he's
still playing cricket now.
No, yes, he still plays for Essex. Yeah, he's been playing
he's
in
not
the
that old, is he?
I think he's about 36. He's not. He retired at 34, I think.
He's 35, 34, and he retired. So what's Anderson doing then? Didn't he watch what Cook did? Leaving at his prime.
He said he was exhausted mentally. He knew it was the end. He knew. I've listened to him talk about it. He said he knew. He said he knew it had come to the end. Strauss said the same, by the way.
But the point is, Anderson's gone 5 years too long.
Oh, Norman, you can't.
He's chasing records.
Since Chris gave me a stat, since Chris sent me a stat, because he listens, even though he's not on, I promise you, he listens. and he sent me a stat that says since 2015, Jimmy Anderson's bowling average is 21 points something, which is the same as Glenn McGrath over that period of time as well. But he's got a better strike rate and economy rate than McGrath. So that's in the last 6 years.
Impressive.
If the guy wants to carry on, Norman, and he's fit, it's up to him. He's earned that right, and he's still take. It's not as though he's.
No, I'm not saying it's not about fitness. It's not about form. It's about leaving on a high. That's all.
But he's still doing the business, isn't he?
Yeah, I'm not saying he's not. So would have Warren. Warren could have played 3 or 4 years longer as well.
Joe Root has just got off the mark with the most imperious cover drive for 4. If we weren't in such a terrible position, you'd say that makes a statement to the opposition. They always used to say that. When you see it, Norman, you'll say, yeah, that's showing the opposition.
Yeah, that was a beautiful shot. I'm watching it now.
But when you're behind as we are, it's not quite the same. But if that was say that was the morning of the first morning, that is showing the opposition who's.
Well, that's what they should have done. They should have been in that position in the first Test match, first innings.
He's going to get criticised. He won the toss and batted, and we're going to look at the next shot. If you
that wasn't exactly full either.
No. So the next ball, he has played an absolutely immaculate defensive shot, and they're now showing Crawley getting out in the first innings and in the second innings, and it's exactly the same delivery. You wait till you see unbelievable.
And the fact that his head's over the ball, it's under his bat.
Yeah,
the way he's supposed to do it.
So now they're going to show you Crawley getting out in the first innings and the second innings, exactly the ball pitches in exactly the same place. One of them comes into him and one goes away from him. It's absolutely brilliant bit of, well, would you call it journalism by Sky Sports? I don't know what you call it. You can have media
television work.
But but if you are they showing that on your? Are you getting?
Yeah,
that?
no, I'm just saying the same thing.
The ball pitched in exactly the same place, Norman. One came into him, one went away from him. Cricket's a hard game, isn't it?
It certainly is. We'll go another 10, 15 minutes and then we'll stop.
I'm just having a great time as Norman. I'm having an absolutely brilliant time as always. I'm just to have David Graveney on, a man of
it's a testament that he likes the show. Otherwise, he wouldn't come on.
I just think that he played. I think I would be right saying he had a 20-year county career. I think he played county cricket for 20 years for Gloucester, so he knows the game inside out. He would have played against and in those days, county cricket would have had all the best players from around the world in the county game. Greenwich and Marshall and Richards, they all came and played for counties.
So he was an off spinner, and where did he bat?
He would have batted in the lower order, but not at the end. He wasn't a tail ender, as far as I remember. I think he would have batted. You'd have to ask him. I don't want to be rude to him. I think he was about.
I prefer to find out from someone else than talking to him about it
But I think he was a number. I think he was a number 8, give or take, but quite handy with the bat.
But of course, he had an uncle that played over 100 tests for England. Correct.
Well, is that Tom Graveney? Would that be Tom Graveney? Would it?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Tom Graveney was one of
his uncle played over 100 tests for England.
Okay.
His father also played, I believe, a lot of very high level county cricket.
Okay.
He then nurtured Sam Curran and Tom Curran.
Okay, I didn't know he was Tom Graveney. Tom Graveney is known in our country as being the most gifted, technically perfect batsman that we've ever produced. I think I'm right in saying. He was I think
Bruce just played a very non-technical shot just to finally French cut it then.
He did. It's a good shot if you can play it well. You usually get runs for that.
So Strauss and Kevin Peterson didn't get along, did they?
I don't think that's right. I think they did get along. But
what happened? Or was it Cook and
No. What happened was that Kevin Peterson was messaging South African cricketers during a match.
What?
That's absolutely. You must know.
I thought it was more than. Are you sure? Really?
Yeah. No, he was, and Strauss found out. Strauss was captain, and
what was he messaging?
Peterson would say they're just his friends, and it was nothing. The story, I think, and we're going back a few years here, Norman. The story would be that he was maybe giving away a few insights from the England dressing room
for money.
No. Oh no. I don't think so. But he obviously knew the players, and
so why would he be doing? So he was favouring the South African side.
I wouldn't want to say anything out of turn because I don't know. I just know what was reported.
No, that's incredible because I can't believe someone playing for a country
during
would do
a
that.
test match. He was sending text messages to the opposition, and he got found out. It was a massive story at the time. Absolutely massive. Strauss, look, anything you say about Andrew Strauss is a proper bloke. Is what you would call a proper English Test captain in a way. You understand what I mean, Norman, by that?
Yeah. He's got integrity. He's got integrity.
Stand-up guy and a proper bloke, and he was furious. Strauss, absolutely furious.
So was he sacked? Was he just top? Was that the last match he played, or
he was certainly it brought about an early demise for him. I think he did come back. But it took a while for him to be. It was. You can't be doing that. I'm really sorry. I don't understand it. God,
of course you can't be doing that, and I'm surprised. I mean, that's as serious to me as the whole thing that we saw with Sandpapergate, just as bad.
Oh, it was, yeah. I mean, it was a big story at the time. Oh dear, nearly Roots.
So Joe Roots just
nearly got out. Nearly got out.
Played a very wobbly shot there.
You wait to see the next one. He nearly gets that next ball. You wait till you see it. It's like watching you bat, Norman. So
well, they got 4 runs that way, didn't he?
Yeah. We spoke about Sandpapergate before. I know Alan always brings it up.
That's double hit.
I told you. He was lucky, wasn't he?
Isn't it out?
No.
Isn't it out?
Nope. He's allowed to hit. You're allowed to defend your wicket at all times with your bat. You can't use your hand.
So you can hit the ball twice.
Yes. You can't hit the ball twice deliberately with an attempt to score runs, but you're allowed to defend your wicket with it. And he's out. He's not out. Oh, Norman, I'm sorry, I'm ahead of you, aren't I? I should.
Oh, you know what? But Bulmer just chucked a spaz. He threw the ball at him.
Well,
and Kohli's getting up. Oh, there's a bit of banter. There's a bit of heavy banter going on.
Yeah, but you wait to see what happens in a second. I don't want to ruin it for you, Norman. People are watching. Sorry, Root has just nicked Bumrah to first slip, and it's bounced just in front of Virat Kohli, just in front of him.
Oh.
Jesus, this is tough.
High drama. If India's applying heaps of pressure.
Yeah. I was going to say on Sandpapergate, Norman, in 20 years' time, when the books are written,
why
the truth comes
Kohli
out.
dive forward? Why didn't Kohli dive forward there?
Because when you're at first slip and the ball's coming off a 90-mile-an-hour bowler and it gets edged, you just don't get time to dive forward.
Well, I was a keeper, and I often went forward on balls.
Yeah, but
if I knew, well, first and foremost, I made sure the ball came into me at a height where I could catch it. And if it was doing that, I would take a step up. Slip and keeper.
When you're at first slip, you watch the ball. So you're watching the ball come down like you do as a keeper.
Yeah.
When you're at second slip, you're watching the edge of the bat. So it's very different thing in the slip.
I get that.
You very rarely find a guy who does second slip as a specialist go to first slip. Although I think Stokes does it to the spinner. He goes different with the spinners. But it's a very different thing. And to dive forward to take a catch at that pace at first slip I can't remember ever seeing anyone do it. I've seen do it second slip. Ian Botham was and Mark Waugh was Mark Waugh did second, I think. I think I'm right.
Mark Waugh was just
Mark Taylor did first, I think.
Yeah, Mark Taylor, Mark Waugh, two of the best slippers you'll ever get.
Yeah, and Botham They brought a video
Both.
out a few years ago. In Botham was in his fame, showing his catches. They just put a video out. Oh my word, did he take some catches, Ian Botham and Mark Ward? Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Two of the best ever been. Absolutely brilliant. So, are there any questions, Norman? Are we ignoring?
No, they're basically people are saying you can hit the ball. So they're explaining what we talk. Mute your channel. Mute your channel. Why would we mute your channel?
He might be answering someone else or something.
Oh, right.
Might be, I don't know. I can't see the screen. I usually try and keep an eye on. There's a lovely shot. Joe Root has just played another cover drive. You can hit the ball twice.
Rail drive is certainly
he's wrong that, Norman, you can hit the ball twice. You're allowed
in defense of your wicket.
Defend your wicket. What you can't do is try and score runs.
Or double hit it.
Yeah, if you knock it up in the air and then you hit it for 6, that can be out. Hit the ball twice. But you saw what Root did there. The ball bounced. He got a bat on it, and then he turned around and the ball was coming, and he just deflected away. He was defending his wicket. If he'd used his hand there as the ball was coming down, he would have been handled the ball. Famously happened to Gooch. Do you remember? It happened to Gooch in a test match. I think it was a test match. He actually did it. I mean, handled the ball. You don't see that very often getting out. It didn't happen to Dean Jones. Did Dean Jones get out handled the ball?
I think he did. I can remember. Yes, I can remember Dean Jones.
And I think they turned around and said it was the wrong decision. I'm sure that they looked.
I'm pretty sure he didn't get out, actually.
Yeah, I'm sure he was given out, handled the ball, and then he shouldn't have been given. I'm sure that was Dean Jones. I may be wrong. I'm old. God, I'm older than Alan Mullally, Norman. That's how old I am.
Well, I'm older than you.
No, well, we're of a similar generation, Norman. It's the tragedy of it.
I can't believe this grey I've got on my hair.
Look at your beard. Look at me. I'm going grey here too.
This is what happens when you completely let yourself go and don't do a damn thing.
No. If you look further down, just below your chest, Norman, that's what happens when you let yourself go and you don't do a bloody thing. And
that's muscle.
It's a good job the camera is here for me and
it's actually a Buddha. I'm a Buddha.
Yeah. Are there any other questions, Norman?
No, it looks like was talking about your channel volume. We could hear it datum. I think. Yeah. Okay. Sachin Tendulkar told a very interesting story about handling the ball in his first tour of Australia. I remember that.
Yeah.
Someone will ask you, just quickly tell us before we go.
I've got a great Ian Botham story for anyone who remembers Ian Botham, and it's an Australia story. You might have heard this, Norman. It's he played in the '86 Sevens series. In the first test at Brisbane, he came out and got 100, and they were walking off for tea. And Botham, they'd just taken the second new ball, and the second new ball, 4 overs for 40, right? With the second new ball, and Botham was, well, anyone saw Botham bat, you know what I'm saying, he was whacking it. And they're walking off for tea, and Merv Hughes walks up to Ian Botham, having just bowled 2 overs at him with the new ball, and says, hi, Beefy, it's nice to meet you again. And Ian Botham said to Merv, he said, have we met before? He said, well, you probably don't remember this, Ian, but the last time you came over here, you did a coaching session, and I came up to you as a young lad and said, hi, Mr. Botham, I want to be a fast bowler. And Ian Botham said to him, and what did I tell you? And Merv Hughes said, you said to me I should take up tennis. And Ian Botham said, I was bloody right, mate, wasn't I? As they're walking off in a test match for tea. That was. And Botham just hit him 2 overs to 24. Brilliant story. I was bloody right, mate. He was a legend.
Great story. I mean, when I've had the luxury of being in a pub with just Jeff Thompson and Doug Walters talking about old days between us, and then I rang Neil Harvey, and they talked between Neil Harvey, who was the selector of those guys. Those three talking was the funniest, most. You know what? To this day, Dougie, Jeff Thompson, and Len Pascoe are thick as thieves. They're great mates. They do everything together. And also John Dyson. John Dyson's also very. That particular group, they like school friends. But in fact, the reality is that Len Pascoe and Jeff Thompson are school friends. They were in the same school together. They played school cricket together. They were the bowling line for their school. Imagine Lenny Pascoe and Jeff Thompson being your bowling line.
I think I'm right in saying, I know that the people who are watching probably don't know who we're talking about, a lot of the people. But
they've had exposure to those guys on my channel.
Would I be right in saying in Australia, after Don Bradman, that Doug Walters would be the second biggest legend in Australia? Would you? I'm not far away there. He's absolutely.
No, he's pretty close. Legend. But that whole team has legends. The Chappell brothers, Marsh, Lilly, Thompson.
But Doug Walters is held in massive esteem out in Australia.
Oh, huge.
Yeah.
He still to this day drinks a lot.
We're going to go.
We
didn't see the best of him in England, Doug Walters, but he was a proper player.
Incredible player. And an incredible character. He used to be able to smoke, have a beer, play cards, and go.
I've got a news flash come up for you just on my phone here. We've just won another gold medal. Sorry, I just thought I'd let you know. Joe Chong, I don't know who he is, but he's won a gold medal. It just came up.
What in Tiddlywinks?
I could probably look into. Do you know what, Norman? It doesn't bloody matter. It's one more gold than Australia's won.
What?
I don't care if it's in Tiddlywinks. We won a gold medal and you didn't.
If we win one more gold medal, we've won the most gold medals ever in Olympics, which is a big deal to me. All right. So last question we're going to miss on. So why PCB ignores Sajid Khan? I don't know why.
Who's
Sajid Khan's a player for Pakistan.
So Pakistan cricket board.
Yeah. I don't know, Rizal. I can't tell.
There's a lot of politics in.
Sajid Khan. I don't have a good answer to that. I'm sorry. You may be able to tell us. Batsmen scoring and boundaries or bowlers doing good. We see the tough fight between bat and ball. So he's right. Great statement. Great way to finish. All right, we're going to say goodbye. That's great, Reg. We'll talk to you again. Well, tomorrow if we have a pre-show, maybe a post-show. We'll see how things go. I'm going to do a post-show. All the best, Reg. Thank you very much for joining us. We also had David Graveney. We had Alan Mullally. We had Pratrush, and we had Siddharth. Great stuff. All right, everyone. Thank you very much, Reg. We're going to now make sure that we view, like, and share the posts. Tell all, subscribe. We had a fair few new subscribers today. I'm very happy about that. We've had over 10,000 people view, and we're going to now have a situation where we share this information with everyone. Make sure you subscribe, hit the notification button for the later sessions, and you've got there to also connect on Instagram and Twitter at Norm Koch. All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you very much. Speak to you soon. England are 2 for 66 after 23 overs, still trail by 29 runs. All the best, guys. Talk to you soon.